6 o'clock, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Down studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Today, the legal tampering period in NFL free agency begins at 11 a.m. Central Time, where players can agree to terms with the team but not officially sign until this Wednesday. It was a big weekend in NFL news. Starting last night, the Rams and cornerback Trent McDuffie reached an agreement on a 4-year, $124 million deal that has an average annual value of $30 million per year and $100 million guaranteed. McDuffie becomes the highest paid corner in NFL. On Friday, a blockbuster trade went down as the Raiders traded 5-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Max Crosby to the Ravens in exchange for 2 first-round draft picks, the number 14 pick this year, and a first-round pick in 2027. And a signing that affected the Titans on Saturday, the Buffalo Bills and center Connor McGovern reached an agreement on a 4-year, $52 million deal that includes $32 million guaranteed. He will not be headed to free agency. This morning, per Ian Rappaport, the Texans and standout guard Ed Ingram agreed on a 3-year, $37.5 million deal that keeps him in Houston at $12.5 million per year. Saturday night, Nashville Soccer Club earned 3 points at Geodis Park, and they remain unbeaten this season, beating Minnesota United FC 3-1. Nashville forward Sam Surridge with a brace, and Christian Espinoza tallied a goal in the win as well. And in college hoops on Saturday afternoon, Vanderbilt took down Tennessee in Knoxville 86-82 behind guard Tyler Tanner's 25 points as Vanderbilt earns the 4 seed and a double bye heading into the SEC tournament this week. Tennessee becomes the 5th seed, and they'll play the winner of Mississippi State and Auburn. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Off and running, kicking off your Monday morning and a brand new week on 104.5 The Zone. And it feels a little bit like Christmas morning. On a dark and foggy, chilly Monday in Music City, NFL free agency is here. You're headed to the big box store and you've got more money in your pocket than virtually anyone else in the doors. NFL legal tampering, essentially free agency, begins today. 615-737-1045 is our number. He is the 11-year NFL veteran, Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins makes the show happen. I'm Will Bowling, streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Gentlemen, it is a big day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Heavy day, man. I used to get nervous and excited and worried on this type of day when it was my time to be up. Oh, my gosh. Free agency, I think everybody paints it as this big, awesome, mega day, and it is. I won't lie. Even the coins that I got, man, in comparison to today's game was a whole lot more than I ever thought I'd see in my entire life. Like, I'm not going to minimize it. I'm not going to say, yeah, man, I wish I could have. No, this day is an awesome day, but it's also nerve-wracking. It's also is a lot of optimism and a whole lot of uncertainty, too, sometimes. Because, again, these are big life decisions that have to be made on your future for your family and also for your body, for that matter, as well. And then what a lot of people don't bring up is the expectation behind that. It's one thing to sign the dotted line for the check, but these are first world problems, I know for sure. But also living up to those contracts as well is a huge part of it, because we've seen some one and dones when it come down to it as well. But we'll get more into that side of it. But I will say, Will, to your point, this is a day that you work hard for in college, to say second contract day.
This is one of my favorite weeks in the year.
Why so?
Not only do you get all these NFL news and players going to new teams, you got March Madness officially, or the college basketball tournaments officially starting up this week with SEC tournament later this week. But also my birthday's tomorrow, so it's just all in one. And then you see who the Titans could sign, maybe a little birthday gift. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
See who the Titans get you today. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, says there is widespread belief that wide receiver Wandale Robinson will sign with the Titans. Reporting that last night, NBC Sports Pro Football Talk, saying free agency essentially begins today at 11 a.m. Central, when teams can begin reaching deals with 4-year veterans whose contracts are expiring. Discussions throughout the league between teams and the agents representing impending free agents have been happening for a while, he says, which in plenty of cases will make the opening of the negotiating window a formality. That's led to the widespread belief in league circles that once the window opens on Monday, Giants wide receiver Wandale Robinson will sign with the Titans. Pro Football Talk, and again, Mike Florio saying Robinson had his first 1,000-yard season in 2025. He would bring a knowledge of Dable's offense to Tennessee, which will help the effort to get other players up to speed. Also, Dable knows Robinson more than well enough to know whether he'll help the Titans become what they're trying to be under first-year head coach Robert Saleh. Thoughts?
Seems to me you get a bit of what we like to call in today's world a dog, somebody that's gritty. I feel like he's going to be I'm about to use these cliches, a lunch pail type of guy. I mean, we're talking about a dude that is playing the game as far as reps at a very high rate. I overlooked somewhat, having a conversation, get somebody to teach a system. Like, I do think you'll get somebody that can talk to Cam and say, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing. But if he's getting $25+ million, his ability to make sure that he's living up to it is probably going to be front of mind in a lot of these situations as well.
I don't think he'll get that much, though, right?
Speculation.
That was a fake reporter that put that out over 25. The weekend.
Okay, so is he close to 20 or we're talking about 18?
I think he's probably close to 20. I mean, I'd say between 15 and 20 if I had to guess.
Between 15 and 20?
That's a wide range, but I think that's kind of the ballpark you're probably living in with Wandale Robinson.
That's not a bad place. Only thing that makes me question that number is, of course, the report, if it's true, that the Giants also want to have a say in his ability to stay in New York as well. And that can get kind of muddied right there. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, his goal is to come in and be the best guy ever. And I do think him having some familiar understanding with the offense could pay dividends. But to me, the biggest part of Wandale Robinson does choose to sign with the Tennessee Titans is this: be the best weapon that Cam Ward can absolutely have. Because I don't want to live this nightmare 2.0 to where we thought the same thing was going to happen with Calvin Ridley and Will Levis.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler says to expect negotiations between Alec Pierce and the Colts to go down to the wire as Indy tries to keep him off the open market today. They are running out of time. They have a little under 5 hours now to do exactly that. Jeremy Fowler adds that's going to be a challenge. He is poised to make at least $27 million per year on a new deal. Jeez. Adding that the Patriots, Commanders, Raiders, and Titans are among teams in the mix. He goes on to say, Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs plans to hit the market. Talks with Green Bay did not result in a new deal. He'll have several suitors. The Patriots, Commanders, and Titans are closely watching his market, along with the 49ers. Doubs is considered by some evaluators to be the best all-around wide receiver in the group. And then Fowler also adds the Wandale piece, says Tennessee has been linked to Wandale Robinson. There is mutual interest, but Robinson will also have other suitors. I'm curious what else the Titans could do at receiver specifically if you bring Wandale Robinson in. Are you asking him to be the focal point of a new-look offense? Are you pairing him up with Calvin Ridley, who you could end up asking to stick around? If that's the best secondary option on the market, the one you already have in-house, or are you pairing him up with a big boundary X outside receiver, of which there are many in this draft? If Wandale Robinson is the wide receiver addition, Ramon, is it fair to expect that he is the big wide receiver addition and you're not going to get two of some of these names that we're talking about?
As far as pay and as far as, impact, yeah, I think it's him. I know we've mentioned time and time again, of course, Juwan Jennings in this conversation. But I don't think he's the big guy. It could be a pay increase for him as well. I'm not sure if that number is going to look like 12 to 14.
In his market's not been as hot as I expected it to be, honestly. There's been so much more conversation about those other three. Yeah. Doubs, Robinson, and Pierce.
Man, and it sucks for Juwan as well, too. It doesn't, but You look at his situation as far as how he came into the league. I'm trying to make sure he was an seventh round draft pick.
Yeah.
He's been a guy that's kind of fought his way into this role that he's playing each and every year. And I always kind of tell people where your role, where you start at coming into this league, somewhat dictates your contracts moving forward too. And I think Juwan has kind of hit that. On top of them having Deebo Samuel, of course, Christian McCaffrey, and other sorts of playmakers. Brandon Ayuk came in as a first round as well and kind of pushed Juwan down into that third option or fourth option, depending on what they did with Kyle Juszczyk. So I'm with you. His market would probably be relatively lower, but more than he probably had in his career. So you bring up the Wandale Robinson part, and my mind starts spinning about how you build this team up if you need more than that, more than him at that wide receiver for help, especially if you're not going after another wide receiver like Alec Pierce. Conversation around Calvin becomes more real. I'm not sure if he's in the plan immediately, or are there concessions to be made about, hey, does it benefit you to stay and keep him? Is the ankle injury, if I'm not mistaken, or lower body injury that he had to end the season, is it going to prohibit him from being better or getting back? Is he better suited with a Wandale Robinson that'll play underneath to where you can take some of the pressure and kind of scheme him up down the field? Now, with that being said, you still got, in my personal opinion, Alec Ayumaner or Chimere Dike. Do you want to dive into them? Or is the scenario you keep Calvin to see how productive Calvin can be with this new addition of Wandale Robinson, potentially?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'll still be surprised if Calvin Ridley is back. He is coming off of a broken leg.
Ooh.
I mean, even if he was healthy coming into this offseason, I think it would be a challenge to see him here. He does not cost them, and same with L'Jarius Sneed, cost them anything until Monday, March 16th.
Next week.
So,
okay.
They still have a week, and has a trigger on March 16th for a $1 million bonus to a $20.24 million base salary with $3 million guaranteed. So, you have a negotiating window over the next week to maybe get that number down a little bit and see what he's willing to take, because like we've discussed, a pay cut for Calvin compared to what he's already making is still probably going to be a pretty competitive offer compared to what he can get on the open free agency market, but it remains to be seen. They at least have time to figure out who else they can add to the wide receiver room over the next 7 days before they've got to make a decision on Calvin Ridley.
And if we make all this big fuss about players and coaches and their histories together, Brian Daboll was his wide receiver coach at Alabama.
That's true.
Not trying to play conspiracy theories in it, but we've had this conversation we might want to push the brakes just slightly on Calvin, but it's still a concern if you don't get Alec Pierce or another big name guy. Or how are you going to make this group a threat on Sundays? Is basically where I'm coming from.
And I think it's fair to assume that someone is going to have to stick in their 2025 role in 26, simply for the continuity for Cam to have somebody that's a familiar face. Whether that's Chikakonkwo, whether that's Calvin Ridley, whether it's Kevin Zeitler, whether it's Corey Levin.
Yeah. Who's tweeting now? I never see him tweet. What the heck? What are you doing, Corey?
Live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. A major domino fell over the weekend. What does it mean for the Titans at a major position of need? Center. We'll talk about it next.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. Good people, United Structural System isn't just another repair company. They're your local foundation and waterproofing experts, all right? They live here, they work here, and they understand exactly how the Tennessee soil, weather, and homes behave. Yes, your homes behave a certain type of way because of the weather we get. It's rainy, it's cold, it's hot. All those things, they understand that. They've been trusted in Tennessee since 1994, serving homeowners across Tennessee for over 30 years. More than 30,000 local homeowners have trusted USS. That experience means they've seen every type of problem our homes face. Every crack or leak tells a story as well, and USS knows what those signs mean. They pinpoint the problem at the source. They check the foundation settlement, basement water intrusion, crawl space moisture issues, and more. Guess what? It's no guesswork with them. Just experts diagnosing from people who understand Tennessee homes, man. Their repair solutions are engineered to stand to our local conditions, and they have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau as well. Cool part about this is it's transferable lifetime warranties on the work that you get done in your home. Local service, long-term protection from a company that you can trust, man. For a company that you need to book with, their website is USSTN.com. USSTN.com. They are problem solvers, experienced, and local. We are USS.
Foggy outside and a morning where you may be in a brain fog as well. After the time change over the weekend and we sprung forward, it's one of those days where you look at the clock in your car as you're driving to work. You're like, I am on time, right? I'm still on time. This is the time. If you're in the car and you are listening to us, then yes, you made it to the right place. That's all that matters. 615-737-1045 is our number. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling with you. So the Buffalo Bills and center Connor McGovern have reached agreement on a 4-year, $52 million deal, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter on Saturday, and a major domino falls in a free agency market that matters a lot to the Titans. So this deal includes $32 million guaranteed, and it allows Connor McGovern to stay put and avoid the free agent market. 4 years, 52. I feel like I can confidently say, Ramon, that is less than what he was going to get on said open market. But the 28-year-old has spent the last 3 seasons with Buffalo, including the last 2 as Josh Allen's starting center after transitioning from left guard. He was 5th in pass block win rate at 97%, according to True Media in 2025. How concerned are you for the Titans' ability to upgrade on Lloyd Cushenberry with Connor McGovern off the market?
My concern level on a scale of 10 is about a 7.5 of being concerned now. I didn't think Connor McGovern, the way this was kind of, slow walking itself, he was going to end up getting the deal. I thought he was going to hit the free agent market. Now, of course, Tyler Linderbaum is still available to you, but you look at his situation and say, well, he's now a marked man. He's numero uno when it comes down to what the center market is going to be moving forward. He's got the superlatives to back him up, being a Pro Bowler. He's played well. He's been healthy. His tape looks fine. And now you're facing a situation where it's not just you that need a starting center, Chicago, who's willing to bid for it, and other places as well. So, and including Baltimore, who could pull what a Buffalo Bills team just did.
And New England, who just traded Garrett Bradbury over the weekend to Chicago.
Yeah.
So you think Chicago's probably off the
Chicago's off the books. Yeah, that's on me. They did. I missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Bears acquiring Garrett Bradbury from the Patriots in exchange for a 2027 5th-round pick.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. Okay. Well, with that being said, New England, of course, who was aggressive last offseason cycle, trying to protect their franchise quarterback, who's super young going into this league. So it can get dicey for the Titans. I'm about a 7.5 out of 10 on concern for this team replacing that center.
So my thing on this is I don't think they make the move with the timing and the speed that they do without supreme confidence, without a strong feeling that you're going to upgrade on Lloyd Cushenberry. That may not look like one of the top 2 or 3 names on the market, but I still think that the win over Cleveland last season was an eye-opener. When Corey Levin played center and he ran for nearly 200 yards against the Cleveland Browns away from home on an offense that showed no real signs of life in the run game this season. That, to me, is what I continue to go back to say that, all right, how many guys are out there that are legitimate upgrades on the play that you got in 2025 from Lloyd Cushenberry? The Titans also have to be confident, considering the injury designation that Lloyd had when he was released, that the health factor isn't going to get significantly better in 2026, to say that Lloyd was not going to be, and I think it was something else besides the Achilles for Lloyd going into this offseason again, but the fact of the matter is the injuries were a major concern for Lloyd Cushenberry.
Yeah.
And the confidence level they have to say, you know what, mid-combine, let's go ahead and move on and start our search for someone else. You don't do that if you only believe it's Linderbaum or McGovern that are really going to make you that much better at center, right?
Right. I don't think so. And here's the other part as well. You got to see what type of guys that they want inside of the building. Whether that's attitude, I'm not sure if Lloyd Cushenberry was too passive for them, not aggressive enough for them, or maybe he was too aggressive, of whatever the case may have been for a guy like him. But clearly for them to get rid of him this soon in the offseason, like, we're not talking about hey, we're going to release you right before free agency. They released him well before free agency to kind of let the world know that they're shopping for a center or an upgrade. To me, to your point, that type of move signify we got to find a better person at this position than what we have right now. And Lloyd Cushenberry didn't satisfy that for them. Now, where they go was determined, I guess, by the market. I'm not sure if they did have Connor McGovern on their radar, but he fit the size, I thought, of what Lloyd Cushenberry was. Now, I told you the two differences between the two guys. Connor McGovern was more of a bigger center. He's 6'5 plus, 315-ish. You got Tyler Lindenbaum that's sitting about 6'3, probably about 310, if that. You know what I'm saying? And he's quick and in space. Again, we mentioned this when we started breaking those two guys down. The type of center that they bring in could determine the style of offensive play they're going to end up having, whether they're trying to move the pocket, put a guy in space, etc. I'd just be shocked if the Titans break the bank again on a franchise center in free agency moving forward, although it's a necessary weapon at this point in time. Like, that center position is a weapon moving forward now.
There's only one player that would break the bank, and that's, of course, we think former Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum. I say we think because we don't know if he is a former Ravens center or just going to be the Ravens center again, because they're clearly in the mix to bring him back. PFF did not like Lloyd Cushenberry's play in 2025. His overall grade was 36th out of 40 centers who played in the NFL last season. His run blocking grade was what was really bad. And that, I think, is where the Titans really feel like they can upgrade. 39th among 40 centers in run blocking last year with a grade of 51.2. He was league average as a pass blocker, according to Pro Football Focus, at 65.5. That was 20th among 40 centers. He allowed 6 sacks last year, which was worst of any center in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. You can do better, even if better, Ramon, looks like Corey Levin, in my opinion.
It does.
So I think there is reasons to look around at the market and look around at how much Tyler Linderbaum really has the market at his fingertips right now and say, this is a little bit of a yellow flag. We've got a big hole to fill here, and it is not one that I expect the Titans to fill with a rookie. So what now? I get it, but at the same time, I think there are a lot of guys that are still out there who are going to be upgrades on what you had this past year.
For sure. And to your point about that position, and I know some people say, well, Lloyd is coming off of an Achilles injury. Well, you know, my motto, and I know yours is now, until you go out there, we assume you are healthy. The health parameters don't matter at that point when you strap up that helmet and walk across those white lines. You are that product, and that product, to your point, was bad in a run, not great in pass protection, and gave up 6 sacks. So it's been a few names that's been thrown around as far as replacements for Lloyd Cushenberry. One of those names, too, I'm not sure if you saw it this weekend, I saw it a time or two on social media, is Dylan Parham as well. He's a Raiders guard that come up, and I saw it in our YouTube chat, too, which made me want to look him up as well. Dylan Parham hasn't played center, and I think he's a Memphis
Tiger.
Yeah, yep. Memphis Tiger as
26 years old.
Yeah, he hasn't played center in the last 2 years. His last 2 years, as far as reps in the NFL, have been at left guard. He had 843 reps there at last year. And then he played at right guard in 2024 for the Raiders. Also, another 882 reps as well. The last time he played center was in 2023, and he only logged 82 snaps. And in 2022, at center, Dylan Parham logged 137 snaps. So he's about 211 snaps at center. Now, again, ask yourself, do you want a transition player like him playing center for you, or are you speaking about guard? Because if that's the difference right there, then cool. I'd hate to kind of break it to people, and I know Connor McGovern did it, but it's hard to transition with a young guy at quarterback when you're trying to make your new guy learn center as well. Is it impossible? No, it's not. But these are the things that you have to ask yourself. What are you willing to give to the offseason? You want them to learn a new offense, or do you want them to learn how to play center? Learn the steps, understand the calls, calling out the defense. There's a lot that kind of goes into it. So on this cycle, to your point, you got to almost say, no, you got to go for a guy that plays that position. And I don't know if it's going to be Corey Levin. I know a lot of people probably going to turn their nose up at that conversation because, hey, you feel like you can upgrade it over Corey as well.
Yeah, I think Corey and Dylan Parham have one thing in common. They'd probably be brought in here to be backups.
At this point.
Yeah. I mean, if you brought in Dylan Parham, I don't think you're expecting him to be your starting center.
Nah, not center. You're right. Guard, different conversation.
Guard, maybe.
Yeah.
I would still prefer Kevin Zeitler over him. Dylan Parham, again, PFF says he gave up 6 sacks last year at interior offensive line.
He did as well.
You were looking there at someone who was considered a solid interior lineman out of the draft in the 3rd round in 2022, who has potential, yet provides you quality depth. I'd be surprised if you were bringing in Dylan Parham to start on your offensive line this upcoming season. Even if it looked like that at first, that would surprise me. I feel like he's the type of guy you bring in and compete with a draft pick. Jeremy Fowler did write about Tyler Linderbaum, of course, at ESPN.com yesterday, saying that he will have the center market cornered if he gets to Monday. Well, it is Monday. And like the Colts with Alec Pierce, the Ravens have an expiring clock to get that deal done. Saying the Raiders, Giants, and Titans could be involved to some extent. That number should easily surpass $20 million per year for Tyler Linderbaum. How do you compare Vegas, New York, and Tennessee for the services of the top center of the market and one of the top players in the market in Tyler Linderbaum?
How do I consider Tennessee? Vegas, New York
Giants. To specify.
And Tennessee. Only competition I see in this one is Harbaugh versus Saleh, right? You know the structure's going to be there. And Dable, yeah. But just head coach to head coach, if those are the guys that are speaking to the players, how much does he want to play for John Harbaugh, right?
He already has his whole career.
Yeah, that's right.
How much you want to play for him again, right?
That's it. And John Harbaugh runs a tight, hard ship as well. But you also got to consider as well, like the market that you're going into. And I always bring this up with players. I'm not sure if it matters to dudes that are going to get $20 million, but what about the taxes, right? I look at both these situations and say that quarterback to quarterback, about as even as you can have them. But as far as play caller offensively, he probably want to go with a guy that has a little bit more of a steady understanding of how to call plays. I'm not sure if it was a Todd Monken. I think that's going to be with Harbaugh in New York. If he wants to
Todd Monken's head coach of the Browns.
That's right. God, dog.
Yeah.
I'm choosing Tennessee.
Greg Roman
where I'm at.
Is on staff.
I know it's one of his buddies. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's on staff there, but John Harbaugh's offensive coordinator is Matt Nagy. Yeah, he's got Greg Roman on staff.
Really
he's got
true.
Brian Callahan around, and Matt Nagy's his offensive coordinator.
Titans situation, I think, just seems more stable, although New York has a glitch behind it as well. They also got a wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, up there as well, who's coming off of an ACL.
Yeah.
And, of course, whatever you think of Cam Scatterbo as a running back as well. I just look at the money that's being given. I don't know if the Titans need to be in that market of giving $20+ million, though, too.
And that's the question is, are you willing to pay a premium and above what you really should in order to fend off the other high bidders for Tyler Linderbaum?
I wouldn't play that game.
It's a challenging place to live. There is a reason why a lot of these top of market deals don't work out. And a reason why, again, a lot of the reporting around the Titans' priorities have been they will be in the second to third tier of players consistently with these deals.
Mm-hmm.
If you are spending on the top 10 free agents in the National Football League in any given cycle, you are spending way above that player's real value in order to bid against other teams. It's like going to the auction and the thing that everybody wants, the silent auction, you keep writing down prices on the paper, you're going to have to pay more for something that everybody wants, obviously. That's just basic economics, right?
It is.
If you're going to overpay for someone, I think you overpay for Tyler Linderbaum. I really do. I think he is as sure a thing as there is in this free agency cycle.
I know, but even I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around the center getting more than Creed Humphreys for that matter.
Think of it as an investment in your young quarterback.
I'm 100% with you
the
there.
opportunity cost, the cost of the drop-off of Linderbaum to whoever is next is substantial. It is very substantial.
It is. I'd feel better with Cade. I'll be honest with you.
Cade Mays.
Cade Mays.
Yep.
The other options that are out there, too. I know that everybody's brought up the Saints, I guess, pending free agent center, but he also has been in a position where he's lost his job and got over-recruited when it comes down to free agency in Jacksonville as well. I'm not saying guys can't resurrect their careers, but to your point about being very settled at that position, it's somewhat problematic. My number is about a 7.5 out of 10 on concern level for filling this position. Now, this is sight unseen, and we don't know what the offense is going to look like. They can be a team with Brian Daboll that moves the pocket and kind of create protection for Cam. It's the same thing that Jamar Chase, I guess, was mad about on the stream when you have Max Crosby being signed to the Ravens this upcoming weekend. It's what's the protection plan if you don't get a premier center in this one or one you feel good about? Because to your point about Cade Mays, he'll be a first-time opening day starter as well if he's signed here. I'm just looking at the differences between Conor McGovern's contract, who he just got about Conor McGovern contract, who just got about $13 million per year. And you're escalating that up over Creed Humphrey at $20 million a year?
At least $20 million for Tyler Linderbaum, the expectation.
That would be one of the highest paid offensive lines in the NFL at this point, considering the first rounders and their salaries as well.
Yeah, Dan Moore at left tackle has a big contract. Peter Skoronski's about to get a new big contract. Tyler Linderbaum would be obviously the highest paid center in the league. Empty chair at right guard at the moment. And then J.C. Latham, a former first-round pick. So, yeah, you're right.
Who just got, I think, 40 as well because of the rookie scale.
That's what Cam Ward needs, though, isn't it? The Chicago Bears had one of the highest-paid offensive lines in the league last year, and they erased 40 sacks on Caleb Williams. And you have the money to let this be one of the highest-paid offensive lines. If you sign Tyler Linderbaum, put me in the camp of Kenneth Walker or Jeremiah Love. Go all in on the run game.
You have to at that point.
If you sign Tyler Linderbaum, all of a sudden I'm putting Jeremiah Love right up there beside Reuben Bain for my favorite picks for the Titans. 615-737-1045 is our number. Lots more to get to in the NFL free agency world. Kenneth Walker, the latest on him. A backup quarterback name emerging for the Titans. Plus Max Crosby making his move. All that and more next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, letting you know nobody likes dealing with a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency at all. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost, if it'll get fixed right, or if somebody's trying to sell you something you don't need. But when you call Hiller, their experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill at all whenever they get done with it. I've booked with Hiller, and this is exactly what they'll do. They'll do the job, come to you with their tablet, show you what they've done, show you the prices of it, and also show you the warranties that are attached to them as well if there's something that was to ever happen. They've been in business for over 35 years, and are family-owned and operated as well. Their techs, which would be the ladies and gentlemen that come to your house, are very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background and drug screened as well. And when they are on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. One, I just think that's a safety thing, of course, knowing who's coming to your house, but also you're not sitting around wasting your time. The motto is, happy you'll bill, the service is free. If you're not satisfied with their work, they'll do all they can to make it right or just simply give you your money back. Listen, to book with them like I do, simply head to happyhiller.com.
Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour number 1, 615-737-1045. Jeremy Fowler says Kenneth Walker is the market setter at running back as NFL free agency begins today. Adding Walker will consider the Giants and Commanders among his options, with the Titans as a possibility too. Travis Etienne, he says, is AFC West love via Denver and Kansas City. Both of those teams could check on Walker and others too, depending on price ranges, Ramon.
Mm-hmm. You just hope you're not in third place when it comes down to these options these players are given. Like, this is recruiting all over for these guys. And the harsh reality of it as well is what players want to deal with what a rebuild is as well. You know, like, especially for a guy like Kenneth Walker, he's just now coming off a situation in which he won a Super Bowl. Heck, he crushed it in his role. He's back to being himself. You look at Tyler Linderbaum, it's the same conversation. Not his per se as far as, you know, Super Bowl, but he's played well for an organization that's kind of ran a tight ship when it comes down to their production and winning and being competitive and being relevant. I'm not trying to minimize how you should feel about this free agency, but it does boil down to guys have to also want to be here and be a part of this rebuild.
One note from the Titans 5 seconds ago from Tom Pelissero. Good day to have your Twitter browser up and refreshing at every second. The Titans are not tendering restricted free agent corner Darrell Baker Jr., who has started 25 games, including 10 last season. Pelissero adds they'd still like to bring him back, but now he's a free agent and has interest elsewhere. Darrell Baker Jr. not tendered as a restricted free agent.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the hits keep coming, Will, at this point, man. I'm not sure him getting a tender was going to solidify anything for this secondary. It's just another warm body at this point.
Of which you only have two right now, L'Jarius Sneed and Marcus Harris.
Oh, do you really have two?
Yeah, right now you do. You have two corners, L'Jarius Sneed and Marcus Harris.
By contract, you do. Sneed's situation, I guess we'll see in the next couple of days, too. I almost guarantee he's got some start of league year money, too, that's probably playing a part in it.
Today.
A week from today as well.
Him and Calvin are in the same boat. Both have money to be paid out a week from today.
So that's where being cautious about the spending has to be top of mind. There's so many pieces that have to be replaced that aren't even in the building just yet. We're talking about only two corners. I think teams carry 5 or 6 on game day, plus whatever they need for special teams as well. Like, that's the other side. Bones Fossil's got to also have a say in this as well.
It is funny how Easton Freeze, I enjoyed this tweet from him the other day, and he's right. Says, I'm not saying it's going to play out this way, but what's the reaction going to be if the Titans sign a top center, overpay for a good wide receiver too, spend on a corner, and get a value running back? Seen that movie before. Are folks going to praise it anyways? Somewhere Rand Carthon is watching. It's exactly what Rand did.
I've thought about it.
Sign a top center, overpay good wide receiver too, spend on a corner, get a value running back. Now, to say that you do all those things again, you also could just find better players in all those spots. Just because you are doing the same thing doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. Let's just nail the evaluations on the injuries, on fit, on
drive,
motivation to keep playing.
Yeah.
All of these things, on culture. So I thought that was funny.
No, it is.
And Easton's very correct, by the way.
It's very funny.
On how that'll be viewed, because it is exactly what the Titans did 2 years ago.
On top of running back again as well. So it's, I told you on the break, I was like, I feel like I'm getting almost to invest in trying to figure out how these pieces come together. Like, this is legitimately a 1,000-piece puzzle at this point.
Backup quarterback news, Ramon.
Uh-oh.
First name tied to the Titans from Jeremy Fowler. Mitchell Trubisky has garnered interest as a quality number 2. Titans, Bills, and Jets are among teams on the radar here. He says one name to potentially watch as backup in Carolina is Kenny Pickett.
Safe.
Mitch Trubisky was with Brian Daboll in 2021 in Buffalo. He was 6 for 8 for 43 yards that year. 86.9 career quarterback rating, 3 years in Buffalo, 2 years in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Of course, Chicago, where he started his career.
Yeah. Mitch Trubisky. Oh, Mitch. Wow. I can't believe we're having that conversation.
Larissa is in Nashville, 615-737-1045. Good morning, Larissa.
Morning, Larissa.
Good morning. You guys are amazing. And
Thank you.
Happy Monday to everybody and the listeners. I had a question real quick about the free agency and how that works. So today they can start the talks. But is it Wednesday that they can start signing off on it? And how long is that period?
Yeah, so today you can agree to deals that Wednesday will be announced. There are rare moments to where deals are agreed today and guys will have a change of heart because things can't be official until Wednesday. But starting on Wednesday, you are official to sign and announce and do all these things. But for the first time, clubs can have video calls for a max of 1 hour with up to 5 free agents from now until Wednesday. Their agents just have to be on the call for it, too.
Absolutely. And this lasts after Wednesday for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Okay. I'm thinking like days. But it's really interesting to hear when I this morning trying to work out, and I love the fact that you guys were saying it. You know, this time change does throw everyone off. We're all like, are we late? Oh, wait, hold on a second. It's still dark out.
That's exactly right.
I'm like, I feel your pain.
Yes.
But I was listening when you guys were saying about it. I'm like, wait, do they have until a certain day that it does stop? I didn't realize it went to the end of the year.
Yeah.
But you guys have a beautiful day. Happy daylight saving times, everybody. I don't know. And thank you very much for just being an amazing show, an amazing actual station.
No doubt. Appreciate it, Larissa.
Later.
Thank you, Larissa. Appreciate the call.
She had on her call TSU.
Yeah, she wanted to talk about TSU and congratulate them over the weekend, but switched.
Congrats to the Tigers.
Congrats to the Tigers, man.
Absolutely.
Big time. March Madness, here they come. Big time. I know Savage
right.
going to cover that big time. They've had Tennessee State on for a good bit this season, man. They've had an amazing year, man. That's cool stuff for them. Not just cool stuff. That's monumental stuff for TSU.
Coming up, Vanderbilt takes down Tennessee. Speaking of college basketball talk, we give our reaction after this. Hey, it's Will Bowling for my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center. Their team of doctors of audiology is always committed to providing patients with the most recent hearing device technology. And they have the ability to address extensive background noise, speech, and noise, helping you hear in situations where you're at a crowded restaurant, you're at that gathering outside where there's a lot going on and you just want to hear the person across from you, not the conversation going on too loudly behind you. Well, Brentwood Hearing Center can help with that. Maybe you are the person in your family that has been told by family members, hey, you don't hear as well as you used to. Or maybe I'm describing someone close to you. Brentwood Hearing Center is going to be able to help. They've been providing sound solutions to Middle Tennesseans for quite some time, and they're conveniently located right off the Brentwood-Old Hickory exit at I-65. Call Brentwood Hearing Center today at 615-377-0420. Their goal, get you off the sidelines and back into the game. You can visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. That's 615-377-0420. Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life.
7:01. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Today, the legal tampering period in NFL free agency begins at 11 a.m. Central Time, where players can agree to terms with a team, but they cannot officially sign until this Wednesday. The Titans this morning, per Tom Pelissero, are not tendering restricted free agent cornerback Darrell Baker Jr., who started 25 games, including 10 games this past season. They'd still like to bring him back, Pelissero reports, but he's now a free agent and will have interest elsewhere. This morning, per Jeremy Fowler, the Steelers are re-signing cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. to a one-year, $4 million deal. Samuel, who recovered from neck surgery back in 2025, will get a full season in Pittsburgh. And last night, the Rams and quarterback Trent McDuffie reached an agreement on a 4-year, $124 million deal that carries an average annual value of $30 million per year and $100 million is guaranteed. McDuffie becomes the NFL's highest paid cornerback. Friday, a blockbuster trade. The Raiders trading 5-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Max Crosby to the Ravens in exchange for the number 14 overall pick this year and a first-round pick in 2027. On Saturday night, Nashville Soccer Club earned 3 points at Geodis Park as they remained unbeaten this season, beating Minnesota United FC 3-1. Nashville forward Sam Surridge had a brace, and Christian Espinoza tallied a goal as well. And in college hoops Saturday afternoon, Vanderbilt took down Tennessee in Knoxville 86-82 behind guard Tyler Tanner's 25 points. Vanderbilt earns the 4 seed in the double bye heading into the SEC tournament that starts later this week. Tennessee gets the number 5 seed, and they'll play the winner at Mississippi State and Auburn. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramona Will on 104.5 The Zone, hour number 2 getting started. Stoney Keeley joins us in 15 minutes talking about some big free agent targets for the Titans on what feels like Christmas Day. 11 a.m. Central today. Legal tampering begins. And a number of reporters noted a change for this year's free agent cycle over the weekend, saying a subtle but significant change with the NFL's free agent negotiating window opens, according to Tom Pelissero. For the first time, clubs may conduct one video or phone call, maximum 1 hour, with up to 5 free agents rather than communicating strictly through their agents as in past years. So a chance for players to, Ramon, talk with teams and coaches whom they will be receiving life-changing money from over the next 7 days.
I like that, actually. I do, because there's so much uncertainty. There's a lot of communication that agents want to, air quotation marks, protect guys from as far as how they go about, stating their claim for what they're going to be paid. You're in the dark so much about this free agency, what your value is, how the team feels about you, that I like this approach moving forward. Now, players, the other side of this as well, can get super emotional. Teams and coaches get on these calls and can kind of convince players, you know what, maybe you should stay here. So I'm glad that the agents are part of this conversation as well, so that they don't put those guys in like an interrogation room the way you see on First 48, where they offer them some chicken and a Coke, and next thing you know, they admit to the crimes. Like, this is, to me, I guess, better understanding. Players, I feel like, do need to have a voice, because there is some stuff that teams don't know, coaches don't understand, and especially the people that are working the numbers in the front office. A player can say, do you know I kept this guy out of trouble here? Do you understand my worth? Do you know that he can't operate without me efficiently? Like, there's a lot of that can be said on those calls, just giving examples of what players can do, or see if they really like the coach. I never had to switch cities, but I couldn't imagine going to a West Coast team or Seattle or Dallas and hoping that Jerry's fine, or hoping that the head coach or the offensive line coach is cool, and you get there and it's a complete nightmare. So there's that part of it as well that plays into this, I guess, FaceTime negotiation now. Kind of cool.
In Knoxville over the weekend, Vanderbilt evens the season series against Tennessee and sets up potentially a grudge match on Friday at the SEC tournament. If Tennessee is able to win, they knock the Vols out of the double bye. They earn it themselves, an 86-82 defeat for Tennessee despite a career-high 24 points from Amari Evans. Vandy jumped out to a double-digit lead before a lot of folks had sat down in their seats, either at home or at Thompson-Boling Arena. Vandy's first win in Knoxville since February of 2017. And Peter Burns put it out there over the weekend. First time in school history that Vandy football, men's basketball, and women's basketball all get wins in Knoxville. I feel like we've got to start off on the Vanderbilt side of this because they deserve the credit. Mm-hmm. They deserved the win. Mm-hmm. They earned every single bit of that. And honestly, I'm not even sure Nate Ament changes the result of this game, considering how many turnovers Tennessee had before the ball even got to whoever the wing was, with the way that Jacoby Gillespie played to start this game in the first 5 minutes. I've not seen him get benched that quickly all season, and credit to Tyler Tanner for turning up the heat, Duke Miles for turning up the heat defensively. Vandy was able to turn Tennessee over in a difficult road environment the way they weren't able to at home earlier in the season.
And it's like you said, credit to Vanderbilt for putting that pressure on Jacoby and making him second-guess himself in the moves and the passes and the loose ball that he had on the court just time and time again. Good on Rick Barnes for benching him, as you just said a second ago. And the other part, too, what Vanderbilt was capable of doing, they did what they didn't do in Memorial Gym. They attacked the paint. They went at the bigs. They forced them to play a game in which they thought they could win, and they just created more fouls. And they got to the stripe to shoot free throws. To your point, yes, Tyler Tanner's that guy when it comes down to him creating chaos on the court, and the Vols could not contain it at all. I somewhat snickered at that. I saw that first time tweet as well where they beat us in football, basketball, and women's basketball as well, and I snickered at first, and I said, you know what, don't do that. I was like, this is what competition is. This is what rivalries are supposed to be. You get an opportunity to change your school trajectory and projection as far as competition, you should celebrate it. So for the Vols, you're on notice with this type of stuff moving forward. You have this team in the 2025-26 year creating history for themselves. So I'll tip my cap to what Vanderbilt's doing. I know the Vols have a good team, a better team than what they displayed this past weekend, especially when you got a guy like Amari Evans that's leading you in points. Like, that says a lot about where they were mentally going into that game, but also how Vanderbilt kind of pressed them, made them get outside of themselves, whether guys were sick and Jalen Carey or not, or whether they were just careless in how they played the game. They put pressure on them. To be quite honest with you, this 86-82 wasn't that close. It got close late.
It got close late because Tennessee started pressing and Vandy had some more turnovers, which kind of inflated that number as well late in the game. 25 points from Tyler Tanner, 17 from A.K. Okereke, 13 from Duke Miles. Vandy led by as many as 17 in the second half, shooting 63.5% for the field and 71% from three. After halftime. I did not watch this game live, so I had to go back and look at it and read about it and everything. And I was on air for Tennessee Saltball Saturday. But every time I would look over, Vandy was making a contested jump shot or a contested three or turning Tennessee over to where they didn't have to play against anyone contesting the shot because they were just laying it in. It was 6-0 in 22 seconds. It just, they deserved the win.
They did.
Without Nate Ament out there, they were by far the better team. On the Tennessee side of things, the turnovers are just going to be the death of this team. And Tennessee entered the game averaging 12 turnovers per game. They were coming off a combined 12 turnovers in the last two games, with 6 against both Alabama and South Carolina. Tennessee had 15 in the loss at Missouri the week before. They just need so much more from their forwards and from their veterans in a game like this. Felix Okpara with 2 points, 9 rebounds before half. Jacoby Gillespie can't go 1 for 11 from 3 without Nate Ament out there and expect to win.
Cannot. The step up as far as the players available, I did not expect it to be Amari Evans. Did not expect it to be him. Ethan Berg, of course, not playing a huge part in it as well. The most encouraging thing to me is you've had 2 straight games where J.P. Estrella has been offensive. Now, is it in streaks the way you need it to? Absolutely not. And speaking about the flow of this game, Will, you mentioned like the last 5 minutes of this game. In the middle part of it, they couldn't get it under 10. Anytime they got close,
Right.
they would get a silly foul. Vandy would
Couldn't
drive
protect the rim, and
exactly
that was the issue in this.
That was the issue.
Yeah.
They could not walk it down, and by that time, you've expended so much energy trying to get it even that you're just hopeful at that point. And I feel like that's what that game was for those dudes. Just the start of it. I don't want to say they were sleepwalking. I hate playing the whole senior day card when it boils down to it, but it shouldn't have been that much of a senior day celebration for you to just get mollywopped 15-2 before anybody could sit down in their seats. Like, that's where the problem lies. You can't start that slow against a team that loves the pace the way Vanderbilt does in a game where, of course, I would want to ruin somebody's senior day. They did.
For sure. For sure. Let's go to LD in Mount Juliet. What's up, LD?
What's up, LD? I think I know who LD is.
What's up, fellas? Hey, Will. So I go to a high school baseball game this weekend, and all of a sudden I hear this very familiar booming voice from behind me going, "Come on, 1-9, come on, 1-9." And I look up and I was like, ain't nobody but Ramon Foster.
In the flesh. Celebrity amongst you.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to, I told you I'd call.
You did, LD. LD was cool this weekend, man. I appreciate the guy. And LD heard our boating conversation on 3HL, and he said I can come get on his boat. We catch some fish.
Oh.
That's right. That's right.
I'm saying.
No, I did want to comment. I wanted to encourage parents and grandparents. You know, I was there watching my nephew, and I know Ramon, you were there watching your son, and I want to encourage more grandparents to get out there. And I got 6 grandkids, and some of them's playing t-ball, some of them's playing basketball, some of them's playing just whatever it is. Get out and support them, because I remember when I was in school and playing, and I'd look up, and my parents would be there, but you know, my grandparents never showed up. And I know sometimes it's tough, you can't make, but just if you go every now and then, you know, 'cause that means so much to kids and players nowadays to have that connection with their families and their friends.
No doubt, man.
I just appreciate you guys, you know, being there and supporting your kids. Y'all had a good turnout, I thought.
Yeah, it
Love
was. Appreciate that,
Appreciate
LD.
the call,
I'm going
LD.
to make sure
Thanks for checking in.
Miss Barb get to the next game. RJ's Nana, okay? Miss Barb, you don't notice LD said get out there.
Vanny Chris, I got to be quick. We got Stoney on the other side talking NFL free agency, but go ahead.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. It's been a couple months. I returned back to work after my surgery and everything, but I just wanted to set the record straight on the whole first time that Vanderbilt's won in football, and it's not just that. There's more to that story, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not only did we get those wins, we ruined 3 different senior days. Those wins all happened on senior day. Now, us Vanderbilt fans, we don't get to celebrate stuff like that against Tennessee very often. You got to give us our due. You got to tell them, hey, they spoiled all of our senior days this year. Come on, guys. Love y'all. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Can I
Chris.
do it?
Go ahead.
This is why when you get them, you put your foot on their necks in sports.
A lot of senior days being celebrated for 1-year careers for those 3 sports. I'm
This
not sure
is-
senior days ever meant less in college sports, because you're giving a guy a jersey for what used to be like, oh, you spent 4 to 5 years here. Now it's, you've been here 9 months. Here's your jersey in a frame. You've got 3 others probably in your back.
Hey, Chris, you right.
But sure,
You're
yeah, I mean,
right.
that's an element of it too. I just don't think senior day really matters as much as it used to. But yeah, no, that's part of it.
Chris, you right. That's all. Hey, Vols fans, Vandy, this is why.
Enjoy it.
This is why you put them in the corner and you put them size 14s up against their neck when you got them down. Celebrate it. You supposed to, Chris, and I ain't even mad at it.
Stoney Keeley tells us what the film shows on Titans free agent options after this.
It's Truck Month at Two Rivers Ford, and that means zero money down, zero financing, and zero payments for 90 days. But only at Two Rivers Ford do you get zero surprises and zero pressure. You see, Two Rivers Ford, they do things a little differently than most dealerships. For starters, they have a non-commissioned sales team, so their salespeople are paid whether you buy a truck or not. So go ahead and ask all the questions, take all the test drives, check out the F-150, the Super Duty, the Maverick, the Ranger. I'm telling you, Truck Month is all about you. And at Two Rivers Ford, you'll find the real prices online every time. They don't add a bunch of accessories or add-ons that you don't know about until you get to the dealership. They pride themselves on honesty and transparency like they have for over 4 decades. And by the way, Two Rivers Ford has the best inventories of Ford trucks in the Southeast. There's Ford Truck Month, and I'm telling you, there's Two Rivers Ford Truck Month. So get to the South's most trusted Ford dealer for the best prices of the year on the best-selling truck in America. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Local, honest, and real. Two Rivers Ford.
Put Lee Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. For as little as $14 a month, become a Lee Company Plus member and receive 4 annual visits to your home for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Even better, Lee Company Plus members receive up to 20% off on every visit and enjoy priority service. You can learn more online at leecompany.com/plus. Platinum Home Protection starts with a Lee Company Plus membership, and Lee Company has over 80 years of serving Middle Tennessee since 1944. Available 24/7, a multi-award-winning great place to work. Lee Company's 14 community locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama are ready to help you. Check them out online at leecompany.com/plus. That's leecompany.com/plus. Lee Company, all you need. Ramona Will at 104.5 The Zone continues this Monday morning. NFL legal tampering, a.k.a. free agency, is 3.5 hours away. With Ramon Foster, I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined by Stoney Keeley talking free agency instead of draft this morning for obvious reasons, because it's Christmas Day, Stoney. Good morning. How are you?
Fellas, how we doing this morning? It's great out here in Mount Juliet. If you're out here, be careful in that fog. I can't even see my neighbor's house out there this morning. But this is where the real team building starts to begin for the Tennessee Titans. I personally am gearing up for one of the least productive days of the year. I hope nobody needs me because I'm not doing a thing. I'm going to be refreshing Twitter all day long. So, hey, if you're going to tamper, make sure it's legal.
Absolutely right. Stoney, let's talk about some of these names and some of these guys who are being linked to the Titans. And Mike Florio last night says there is a belief around the league that Wandale Robinson will become a Titan when legal tampering and free agency begins. For a player that was predominantly deployed in the slot, who had a career year this past season, kind of doing a little bit of everything, Stoney, what would he bring to the Titans offense?
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting player to talk about, because I think the perception is, like you said, Will, slot receiver. He's kind of a move guy, shifty in the open field, got really good start-stop ability, and, those guys typically excel in the slot. But with the Malik Neighbors injury last year, they kind of kicked him outside and had him doing a little bit of everything. So I think he showed that he can play wherever he needs to play. At his best, I think you've got a guy that, like I said, he's shifty in the open field. He can make a man miss. He can accelerate through traffic. I've already got a slightly smaller frame, so it kind of helps him shrink through the hole, shrink through tacklers. I think he's got good ball tracking. Had to adjust to some bad balls being thrown his way with the Giants last year. Sudden on the throttle down, on the curls and comebacks when he needs to hit the brakes a little bit. I think if you're projecting what he's going to be at the price tag it looks like he's going to command, the hope is that he can be a security blanket underneath for Cam Ward with some yak potential. Maybe he can be a deep threat when he needs to be, playmaker, or, he's at least going to get paid like it. So you hope there's that upside there, and that the lack of volume in his career so far is just the result of underutilization. But I also, another note I had is he can be pretty lethal up the seam between zones. A lot of teams play cover 3 right now, and I think Wandale Robinson, typically you think of like your tight ends hitting the seam, but they ran him up there on a few plays, and nobody could really hang with him. So really versatile guy, shifty guy, speedy guy. Be really curious to see what the final numbers end up being on a deal for him, because I don't think he's going to come cheap, but he could give a little bit of juice to this passing game.
No doubt about it. We're joined by Stoney Keeley this morning. Stoney, when it boils down to, you mentioned the numbers being correct, this conversation, Alec Pierce can get up to $27 million. Stoney, for this team, is it worth it to go after a guy like him?
I don't think so, Ramon. I mean, point blank, I just don't think so. I think Alec Pierce has a very specific skill set in the NFL from what we've seen from him so far. He can be that X guy. He is a deep threat. He can take coverage upfield with him, open up stuff underneath. I get all that stuff. I know there's this idea floating around that, well, Indianapolis just didn't know how to use him. And I know we can't say any nice things about the Colts around here. I get that. But Shane Steichen is not a dummy. Shane Steichen is a pretty good offensive mind in the NFL. And if he's kind of telling you, hey, this is the role that this guy is good at, this is what we have him at, I think we should probably listen. On top of that, they draft Alec Pierce, and then a year later, they draft Josh Downs, and then the year after that, they draft A.D. Mitchell. So I can't help this voice in the back of my head that says, well, you know what? Are we just going to call the Colts idiots because they didn't know how to use Alec Pierce the right way? Or are we going to read the tea leaves here and say they figured out a way to use him most effectively, and they kept trying to draft receivers around him that could do the things that he can't do? I don't want this to sound like I'm slamming Alec Pierce because, man, I would like to see a guy that can just flat out get behind the defense and be a ball winner in contested catch situations in this offense. I'm not going to complain about that at all. But when you're talking about 27, you start pushing that $30 million a year number. That's where I start to think maybe this isn't the most prudent team building if we're really going to go after a guy like this. So I would steer towards the Wandale Robinsons and steer away from the Alec Pierces in this free agent class.
Understood. So if you can't protect them, then you can't throw it. So, Stoney, let's go to the trenches, man. This center position, and how do you view Tyler Linderbaum? Connor McGovern is off the board. The Chargers ended up signing a free agent center as well. So the pickings are getting slim. Now, for a second-tier wide receiver. Are you yes for the numero uno center coming out in this free agency cycle, Stoney? And what do you think of his play after all the tape I'm sure you've seen on him as well?
Yeah, I really like Linderbaum, and there is a monstrous gap between Linderbaum and the next center now with Connor McGovern off the board, and I believe it was Tyler Biadasz that signed with the Chargers. So those two guys off the board probably makes Cade Mays the most attractive center option. And, it's nothing against Cade Mays. I think he's a fine young player in the league. But if you want a guy, that's the thing about the offensive line, Ramon, is like we're not just adding pieces. Right. We need two starters on that offensive line at this point. Like we got to go get guys that are going to be ready to play week one. And right now, Linderbaum is the only guy that I think you'd have faith can excel in that and be an above average player. I do think he's probably worth the price tag. I don't know if the Titans are going to be willing to spend on it because I just, historically speaking, they just don't. I just don't see them being that team that's going to shell out that money for him. But as far as the tape goes, he's one of the cleaner center prospects that I've ever studied. Mm-hmm. Even coming out of Iowa, he's slightly undersized, which, conventional thinking would say, oh, he's probably a better pass protector. But no, this dude's a road grader. He's got a little squattier of a frame. He's a little shorter to the ground, so you kind of help with that natural pad level advantage. He gets the hands inside. He keeps his feet churning. He can really blow out a hole. So it depends, too, if, this is a guy that they feel is suited for their system and their strengths. A lot's going to go into that decision, and they're going to have a lot of competition if they decide to go after Linderbaum because he is the top guy in this class. Everybody's going to be wanting to bring this dude in. So I tend to think I'd be okay with spending the money on Linderbaum, but I tend to think they're going to bring in one of these second or third level free agent options that has a little bit of experience, that may have a little bit of versatility. A guy like Dylan Parham has played for the Raiders. He was the University of Memphis prospect. Luke Fortner out of Kentucky. I'd be okay with bringing back Corey Levin because you know what you got in that guy. Mm-hmm. Like bring him back and just let him kind of man the ship until you can find a more long-term solution. But it's a dicey market right now at center.
Stoney Keeley with us. You hear him on Football and Other F Words. You read his NFL draft content as well. It's Stacking the Inbox. Stoney, what about Kevin Zeitler? Where is your motivation or just overall feeling on bringing him back for another season for the Titans at right guard?
Yeah, I think it would be, listen, I don't know if the conversation is hey, don't retire, please come back, or if it's, keeping him from going to other teams. If he wants to go to another team, I would be doing whatever it took to get him back inside the building. And I'm as big of a Jackson Slater fan as you are going to find. They were not eager to get him out on the field last year during his rookie year. But that last game, I thought he showed some fight. I thought he showed some promise there. I don't know that means he's ready to be the right guard full time. So even if it is just for another 1-year deal, you can keep Kevin Zeitler from riding off into the sunset. I'd bring him back because things started a little choppy in 2025. And like I've said, like when the team starts losing games, people start tuning out. And if you tuned out November and December of last season, I think you missed out on how that offensive line really started to gel, and Kevin Zeitler really kind of found his footing in that offense. So for continuity's sake, you've already got to go replace a center. And I would love to hear Ramon talk about this a little bit too, is like you've got that relationship now between Zeitler at guard, J.C. Latham at tackle. They have played considerable snaps together now. I would think at a position where continuity and communication is crucial, I would think that you'd want to make a push to bring that guy back to really shore up that spot and give you a little bit more time to continue developing the young guy behind him.
Yeah, it's a lot that kind of goes into it. I'm with you. Continuity means a lot. I just look at Zeitler, and I love him as a player, right? I remember playing him against Cincy and Cleveland as well. I just say, with as young as his line is at that spot, I do personally think there's an upgrade to be made. But I also said that with the understanding of they get a premier center. I'd rather put a young guy at right guard. That way he can grow up with JC for the long haul. Unless you're trying to go get a second-round tackle and bump JC in. That's where my mind is going in all of this. At some point, Stoney, I personally look at it and say, you got to build your five. You can't just keep getting mercenaries. And I'm not calling Zeitler that, but I do look at JC's situation and say, give him somebody to grow with. And I thought there would be a young guy like Slater at guard where he's a homegrown guy, and both of those dudes can grow up with a free agent center.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of leaning like Slater could be that guy, but are they ready to roll him out there week one and just like give him that label? Well, I shouldn't say give him that label, but is he going to be that guy right out of the gate? And if he's been like cross training at center some too, he might be a potential answer there. So there are definitely some pieces to sort out on that offensive line this offseason.
Stoney, we'd look on the defense, and with Jermaine Johnson's entrance into that edge rusher room, it's serviceable, but the Titans have the money in free agency to be a lot more than serviceable at edge rusher and at a number of other positions. Kwity Paye is someone who has been brought up quite a bit just from those of us that follow these things and connect the dots on the fit. And I know he's someone that you have watched a lot of as well. The experience in a Gus Bradley defense, the market value for him kind of fitting in what we think the Titans are kind of going to be in the neighborhood of consistently. What makes sense to you from a scheme and just film study point of view on Kwity Paye and the Titans?
Yeah, Kwity Paye, not the flashiest guy, but I think you mentioned two key points there, Will. I think he's going to be more in the price range that they're looking for. And I also think his experience under Gus Bradley is going to be crucial in this as well. I like Kwity Paye. I've liked him quite a bit since he was a prospect at Michigan. He is more of the mold that we've been talking about Robert Saleh and company looking for. He's a big, powerful guy. He can set the edge. He's not the quickest, twitchiest guy, but he's got some production. He knows this system. I think it's a valuable veteran add to get a guy in here that can play the style of defense that they're wanting. And, it's not going to be the Trey Hendrickson signing. And I think that's okay. I think at this point, this is a really good free agent class at the edge defender spot. So what you're doing is not everybody that you sign in free agency is going to be a splash player, but if you can plug the holes from a roster building standpoint, if you can plug the holes in free agency, it sets you up to go best player available in the draft. And that's where you can add that talent and get those homegrown guys in your system and start, really cranking this thing up for years, the long term. So Kwity Paye is that guy that's probably not going to be flashy to a lot of fans, but I think with his skill set, he's kind of tailor-made for the type of defense that they want to run here in Nashville. And I think he would raise the floor of this edge group tremendously.
Mm-hmm. Stoney Keeley joins us Mondays during draft season at 7:20. We'll get back to draft talk with him next week at Stoney Keeley, where you get his analysis on Twitter. Stoney, appreciate you as always, sir. We'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, and hit me on the side so we can solve this old line thing. How about that, Stoney? We and you just sit down and just talk through the ups and downs and ins and outs of this. What you think?
I was about to say, Ramon, you might get a text from me today because, we got to talk about this J.C. Latham guard thing. You piqued my interest there, and I got some thoughts on that, brother. I got some thoughts, so you're going to get a text message from me today.
We sound like we need to sit down with whatever you choose. I like it. I'm like intermittent fasting, so I'm not really drinking like that. I'll have a hot coffee, you know what I'm saying? Or I might do red wine because it says good for the blood.
Tempt us with a good time is what Ramon's saying today.
Listen, you in Mount Juliet, I'm in Hendersonville. I can come across that bridge at any time. Like
there we go.
Yeah, like I do. TD called in early. Okay, all right, I'm here for that.
All right, let's do it. We got to talk O-line sometime.
All right,
I love it. Thank you, Stoney. We'll talk to you next week.
He got me in the whisper voice.
Good stuff, gentlemen. Y'all,
yeah.
let's go have a Monday.
All right.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Right. Stoney Keeley with us.
That's how you know him, man. You hit me with the whisper voice, and we got to figure this thing out.
Since we started the segment with Stoney, one corner got a new contract and one quarterback got released. Details next.
Synergex and Low T Center have been highlighted for having the highest quality testosterone on the market, y'all. They only use pharmaceutical-grade testosterone, never compounded testosterone, so you know what's going in your body. I'm telling you, don't settle for the compounded mystery testosterone. Go to Low T Center, man, and get the safer, smoother TRT with real human providers. At Synergex and Low T Center, they dose their TRT more frequently than most other clinics to make sure your testosterone levels are always optimal and don't dip below the baseline in which they set for you. Everybody has a baseline if you was wondering what that is, and you might be too low. You can also be too high as well. But this keeps your TRT smooth and keep also the side effects in check. They also stay on top of your health with regular medical testing so you can make sure your TRT is always safe, y'all. They're just good at what they do. All providers are board certified and experts in their field and not some random chat bot or providers you never actually get to see. They know the right questions to ask. They know the right things to look for in your charts and the right tests to run to keep your TRT smooth and manage side effects as well. I always tell you guys, we worry about the outside of what we look like and all those types of things. As man to man, I'm telling you guys, go to the clinic, man. Get yourselves checked out. Go ahead and see what's going on so you can fix it and feel as best as you possibly can with what your health is asking of you. So go to simply getmyhealthfix.com. That's getmyhealthfix.com, and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Selling your first home can feel overwhelming, especially when you're not sure what to expect. For Blake, the experience was anything but stressful once Bernie Gallerani Real Estate got involved. Hey, it's Will Boulding. As first-time home sellers, Blake and his family, they needed guidance, clarity, a team that would take the time to explain every step along the way. From day one, Bernie Gallerani Real Estate made the process simple and easy to understand. They answered questions quickly and worked around a busy schedule to make sure nothing felt rushed or confusing. With deep local market knowledge and a hands-on approach, the entire experience was smooth, organized, and stress-free. So if you're selling your home for the first time or the 10th and want a real estate team that truly puts you at ease, call Bernie Gallerani Real Estate today. Make your next move with confidence. Bernie Gallerani is the real estate agent who guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. So get the 30-day guarantee working for you at 615-428-2644. You can check out Bernie online at BernieGallerani.com or call him at 615-428-2644. Ramona Will at 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the first half of your Monday morning. 615-737-1045. We'll hit the headlines and tell you the player the Titans are being most strongly linked with this morning as NFL free agency begins. The Miami Dolphins are going to release Tua Tagovailoa today, Ramon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not today, but at the start of the new league year, in a move that will leave Miami with an NFL record number in dead money against the salary cap. $99 million against the cap for Tua to not play for them. The Dolphins announced their intention to release him in a statement just about 30 minutes ago. A source tells ESPN's Adam Schefter that Tua's release will be designated post-June 1st, which allows the Dolphins to split the dead money over 2 years. So that designation leaves them with a $67.4 million dead dollar amount against their salary cap in 2026.
Yeah. I saw NFL analyst Lance Zierlein kind of put this out, and it's kind of what we are all. He's at, of course, Lance Zierlein on Twitter. 99 milli. Wow. You better really believe in your quarterback to give them that second contract. Tua is just a cautionary tale of it. It's, to me, the love affair with the quarterback market that always plays a part. And I'm not saying that as an offensive lineman. It was all about the quarterback. Like, it is all about the quarterback if you got a special one. Like, they did everything they possibly could to make Tua successful. They tried to get him an offensive line. They worked on the defense. They got him weapons. He got Waddle, one of the best young wide receivers. Oh, and then they went and got Tyreek Hill. And then, of course, their old head coach was supposed to be a guru as well. It is the evaluation of franchise quarterbacks in today's NFL has to be one of the most flagrant processes I feel like we're watching in real time. And you got a bunch of guys on your team that can make your team better, but everybody's got to have the premier name. Like, we're watching Tyler Shuck right now do work in New Orleans lightly, but as a second-round pick, right? Like, do you take, moving forward, do more teams need to take the Philadelphia Eagles just, approach to playing quarterback? Get you a second-rounder that's going to play your system, but build a team.
How many second-rounders, though, end up working?
I know,
many.
But, I'm looking at the way my point is,
Will Levis was a second-rounder.
Build the team. And hitting on draft picks matter. That's one thing they've done.
Yep.
Is hit on your draft picks. I don't know that process. Clearly,
and they hit on the quarterback draft pick.
Nope. Yeah. And I'm not minimizing Jalen Hurts whatsoever.
Right.
I'm not. But the point of stacking up a team, that to me, I feel like it's going to keep you more sustainable than pulling $99 million in dead cap for a guy. What did Tua end up starting in college? Under 20-some games, whatever it was at the time. I hate the fake hope is where I'm at.
I mean, but it wasn't fake at the time, was it?
I mean, Tua had his questions coming out.
He had a 4,600 yard season.
What was their record that year?
11-6.
Wow.
They were 11-6. He threw for 4,624 yards in 2023. Wow. Now, we said at the time, still, that, all right, the guy's had one healthy season. Are you really going to pay him that much for one healthy season, considering that he also had 23 interceptions in his first 3 seasons that, again, weren't fully healthy? So we still had hesitation at the time. But to be fair to Tua, It wasn't fake hope. It was just a really limited amount of hope. It was a small sample size, but that sample was pretty dang good.
It was. You're right. And you know what? Can I be real with you? Of course I got to be real. We're doing a live show at this point. My point of it is as well, is this what you do with Wandale? The price, if you're signing Wandale Robinson, I'm not sure where his number is going to be. But if it hits 20 plus, we're saying the same thing to him as well. His volume's been high. But volume versus numbers of yards, I can count to 100 and know that's a touchdown. He had the same amount of receptions in 24 as he does in 2025, but he got more yards, but that's only one time happening. It's, to me, just planning and being more cautious about what you're doing as a team, not just based off of, he was hot this year. It's the same draft conversation we're having about Ruben Bain Jr. versus some of these other guys. Do you go with what the production has shown you because he's constantly done these things, or do you go with, I can fix him, or he works for us? And Stoney, I wrote that down. I quickly grabbed my pen to write down what Stoney Keeley said to us in that last segment. It was not every player signed is going to be a splash player in free agency.
And the odds tell us that half of them won't work out.
Half of them won't work out.
At least. Yeah.
We're going to have a topic in the 9 o'clock about what you don't want the Titans to do. And I feel like I'm going to have a long list of things to discuss of what I don't want almost any team doing this time of the year. And the Raiders are in the same conversation.
I think it's kind of like what we talked about last year in the same stance that the Titans are in, is you have this suck tax that you have to pay in order to get better. But then it draws the line of how much do you want to overpay for a guy just because you need them, or how much do you want to try to get the market price because of what you need? It's a fine line, but the Titans end up more often than not lately of paying that quote-unquote suck tax.
It's just I don't know, watching Tua and the rest of these quarterbacks, like even that ain't even necessarily a sucks tack. It's a
because they were good when they re-signed Tua. But speaking from the Titans' perspective, yeah, that's part of it.
It just gives you like management of rosters. Like to me, like going into building a team. And that was one of the questions I felt like we've asked over and over again. How much are you willing to do just the first cycle around? Because Robert Saleh's lived this life with the Jets, where it was get all of guys Aaron needs. We got the quarterback, we got the defense, and then it duds there. I wonder what's his mentality with Mike Borgonzi about. Are you guys hiring me to build something sustainable, or do you want me to win right now? Now, the win right now is always important. I'm never going to minimize that.
Sustainable with signs of progress in the present, in the interim. Sustainability is what matters here. If you win more games in the meantime, great. Let's build it for the next 5-10 years. Ian Rappaport reporting the Jags and corner Monteric Brown have agreed to terms at a 3-year, $33 million deal this morning for him to stay in Jacksonville. Former 7th rounder gets paid in a deal done by Milk and Honey. Okay. Everybody's agencies get shouted out, and I guess they're getting more creative with what they name.
Hold up, what?
That's apparently the name of his agency.
Oh,
I mean, they wrote the tweet. Everyone else
land,
just copied
baby.
And pasted it and sent it. So.
The land of milk and honey. He got plenty of it right now.
Yeah, Monteric Brown has $11 million of milk and honey headed to his house.
He does.
And the problem is it's got to be in Jacksonville. That's far from the land of milk and honey.
That's a spread out city.
Yeah. 2 interceptions for Monteric Brown last year. PFF's number 14 corner in all of football in terms of coverage grade. He allowed 10.5 yards per reception and had 9 pass breakups, 12th in the league last year.
That's awesome.
Trent McDuffie got paid over the weekend. Last night, 4 years, $124 million. That includes $100 million guaranteed. The now former Chief and current Ram is the new highest paid corner in NFL history at 25 years of age.
Rams just don't care. When they got a window open, Will, they crawl through it like bro man on Martin, man. They don't care. They're climbing through every single time. Mm-hmm. They've lived this with Jalen Ramsey before.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Coming up, 615-737-1045, wide open for your calls the rest of the morning. We'll talk about realistic fits for the Titans, and we'll tell you what Jeremy Fowler says about the Titans' pursuit of 3 names at wide receiver after this.
The uncontested leader when it comes to engagement rings and fine jewelry, here is Genesis Diamonds, the leader for over 20 years. Genesis disrupted the old school jewelers by offering a massive selection of hand-picked diamonds at ridiculously low prices. And year after year, they're voted best jeweler in Nashville and best place to buy an engaged ring. Nobody else even comes close. These days, Genesis owners are as committed as ever to staying ahead with an even larger selection of GI-certified diamonds, a growing collection of exclusive designer rings that you can't find anywhere else, expanded warranties and guarantees, and extreme transparency. And what people love, nobody's on commission at Genesis. They are there to guide you to a smart decision with total confidence. Genesis is the total package. Uncompromising quality, unmatched selection, and unbeatable value. And one more thing, if you're looking for a luxury Rolex watch, Genesis has cornered the market with a massive selection of pristine, just like new pre-owned Rolex timepieces. All the popular models, they have them. So for that special occasion this year, trust my friends and the real experts at Nashville's own Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds are located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. Online at genesisdiamonds.com. Amazing store, incredible people. And make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity in your home. Get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto, and in a matter of days, they had $160,000. They kept the 3% mortgage intact and didn't even need an appraisal. With all that cash, they wiped out all the credit cards and 2 car loans and saved $2,000 a month. You can do it too at loanpronto.com. Their rapid equity loan program could get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it, consolidated all their high interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Just imagine. Pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier, get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows, so call Loan Pronto. 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
8:03, good morning live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Today, the legal tampering period in NFL free agency officially begins in about 3 hours, coming up at 11 a.m. Central Time, where players can agree to terms with a team, but they cannot officially sign until this Wednesday. The Titans, per Tom Pelissero this morning, are not tendering restricted free agent cornerback Darrell Baker Jr., who started 25 games for the Titans, including 10 games last year. They'd still like to bring him back, but he's now a free agent and will have interest elsewhere. Per Ian Rappaport this morning, the Dolphins will release former 5th overall draft pick in 2020 quarterback Tua Tagovailoa after the start of the new league year with a post-June 1st designation. Miami will owe Tua $54 million this season and will carry an NFL record $99 million in dead cap money that will be spread over the next 2 years. Nashville Soccer Club Saturday night earned 3 points at Geodis Park, and they remain unbeaten this season as they beat Minnesota United FC 3-1. Nashville forward Sam Surridge had a brace on the night, and Christian Espinoza tallied a goal as well. And in college hoops, Saturday afternoon, Vanderbilt took down Tennessee in Knoxville 86-82 behind guard Tyler Tanner's 25 points as Vanderbilt earns the number 4 seed and a double bye heading into the SEC tournament. This week, Tennessee will play on Thursday as the 5th seed, and they'll play the winner in Mississippi State and Auburn. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show on a Monday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Glad you're with us. Welcome in. Good morning. Sun's finally up. And thank God it's not going to be down at like 5 o'clock tonight. We got daylight for hours. And we've got NFL free agency for hours. 11 a.m. Central today when the fun can really begin. Players getting re-signed this morning, traded over the weekend. And there is one name that continues to be linked most heavily to the Tennessee Titans. Really two, but one that as of yesterday was starting to gain even more steam. We know about John Franklin Myers and the belief that he will end up with the Titans that is been reported on by many national media members. Last night, Mike Florio at ProFootballTalk.com says there is widespread belief Giants wide receiver Wandale Robinson will sign with the Titans. Free agency effectively beginning at 11 a.m. today when teams can begin reaching out with 4-year veterans whose contracts are expiring. Robinson would bring a knowledge of Daboll's offense to Tennessee, according to Mike Florio, which would help the effort to get other players up to speed. Also, Daboll knows Robinson more than well enough to know whether he'll help the Titans become what they're trying to be under first-year head coach Robert Saleh. Says in plenty of cases, the opening of the negotiating window is a formality. That's led to the widespread belief in lead circles that once the window opens, Wandale Robinson will sign with the Titans. What problems, Ramon, does Wandale Robinson solve for Tennessee at the wide receiver position?
Ball catcher, period. A guy that has the football coming his direction often, knows how to bring it in. You look at his target versus receptions. That, to me, I think is something that the Titans hadn't consistently had. You almost went into game weekends feeling like, well, we'll see who shows up or, well, who will get their targets. I figured last year, especially with Calvin Ridley, even with Cam Ward, that the volume of targets of consistently keeping him in the game plan would be solved. And that wasn't the case. It was hit or miss some weekends. Heck, for the last 2 years with Calvin, with a premier guy that's a ball catcher in the NFL, you know you can count on him getting, 6 to 8 receptions with probably 12 targets or more, depending on how hot the guy gets. That, to me, is what I think Wandale Robinson can bring to the Titans, is somebody that you know you can go to and got to have at moments. Tyler Lockett-like. It's almost what you're getting as well. We'll see what his role evolves as, because as Tony Keeley told us in the last hour as well, his role grew with the absence of Malik Neighbors last year. I wonder how big of a step he'll take in this offense if he does come to the Titans because of what happened in New York.
Yeah, he is an important part of the Brian Daboll system. The slot position is a valuable one, but last season he didn't just play the slot. Matt Harmon wrote a really good piece about him at the Reception Perception, which if you love receivers and you love the NFL, free plug for him. Does a great job covering the wide receiver position specifically. We've had him on in the past, and we are efforting him getting back on the show as well. But last season, he was really good at a couple of things. Deep in-breaking routes. 15% of his routes last season were post routes. And he had taken 70% of his snaps in the slot each of his first 3 seasons. Last year, he only lined up 50% of the time inside. So 44.8% of his snaps were on the outside. He was off the line 76% of the time. He was on it for about 24% of the time. The 2 things he did well were those deep in-breakers. 15% of the time running posts, 14% on digs, 11% of the time he ran out routes. His man coverage success rate went from 32nd percentile to 44th percentile from 2024 up to 2025. He just struggled against press coverage.
Okay.
Was not good against press coverage. He only ran 11.8% of his routes against press, but he was 11th percentile with only a 50% success rate against press man coverage last year. Matt Harmon writes the following on Wandale Robinson. Outside of deep in-breakers and corners, the rest of his route tree outside of the quick game is fine to poor. He's just not a full field receiver, nor can he win from every alignment. That's totally acceptable. You just need to be able to surround him with quality mates in the receiver room to field a strong passing game beyond his own individual production. Solid athlete, not an elite athlete. Good route runner on deep post routes. Can find success in the seam against cover 3 and against zone coverage, and knows the offense, and I think is a plug-and-play 1B wide receiver 2 type over the next 5 years, 3 years, whatever, however you want to spin it, who in the immediate future probably slots in as wide receiver 1 in 26 if he is the guy.
Right.
So I know I'm getting pretty in the weeds there, but that is the full soapbox breakdown on what Wandale Robinson can bring you.
But that's appropriate, though, too. What I'm getting from that and learning from it in general, just the makeup where the Titans are, it's going to take more than one. Wandale Robinson isn't A.J. Green. You know what I'm saying? Jamar Chase is what we're getting at.
He's not a big boundary X that's just going to put a guy on the low block and post him up on 3rd and 8.
I'm fascinated to see how Brian Dable does set this offense up because, again, when you look at, like I said, I was going to use a good bit of what Chicago had done last year. When you look at what Chicago had done with Caleb Williams and how they surrounded him with a plethora of talent around them, so much so they were able to get rid of DJ Moore, and they had guys growing underneath them. I know his completion percentage wasn't that great this year, but the options. And that's where I'm fascinated to see how Dable goes about creating options for Cam if you don't have the premier guy. Now, they had the premier guy in DJ Moore and Roman Dunze and so many other weapons, the tight ends. I mean, Colston
Loveland.
Loveland. They got a lot of weapons, and that's where this team has to start stacking that up. Now, whether it's this cycle or next year's cycle, I'm kind of setting myself up to be like, this won't be the finished product. The high quality that you're looking for, one, isn't available in free agency, and you don't have the premier guy in the draft this year that makes you feel comfortable with taking a wide receiver at number 4. This, to me, is I feel like we're saying this again, a foundation setting year. It needs to be at least.
Over the weekend, Max Crosby becomes a Baltimore Raven in a deal that includes 2 first-round picks, 2026 and 2027, going from Baltimore to Vegas for the 5-time Pro Bowler whose 69.5 career sacks since 2019 is more than double what anyone has produced in Baltimore over that span, with Nnamdi Madubuike leading Baltimore with 30 sacks since 2019. As someone who played 11 years in the AFC North and still has very strong ties to said team in Pittsburgh, what was your reaction to that news over the weekend?
Oh, hell.
Yeah.
You want to know what's funny? Everybody's saying Hail Marys and prayers for Joe Burrow. Heck, I'm thinking about Pittsburgh's situation as well. Like, young tackles, Broderick. Like, Troy on the right side, Troy Fautantano on the right side, I feel confident in. But Max Crosby is a weapon. Like, everybody's got a premier edge rusher except for Cincinnati at this point. And
that's true.
You better have strong tackles playing in that division moving forward. The Jamar Chase response, if you guys hadn't heard his live stream, if it's got some curse words in it, so I don't think we can play it live unless somebody's already got it edited out. But he's praying for his quarterback. It's been an issue keeping Joe Burrow healthy to begin with. I don't think they have a good offensive line right now. And this is just Baltimore, in my personal opinion, doubling down on what they've always been. They've been a defensive team.
Yeah.
Always.
He said, how the bleep do we let this guy go to the division, bro? That was Jamar Chase.
Concerning.
That's how 3 NFL fan bases are feeling this morning.
This was a midnight stream. He was playing a game on Jamar Chase, and he said, I got to call Joe. We got to get our protection.
Joe, who was pictured with Jessica Alba over the weekend.
What?
Yeah, at a poker table.
That's on brand.
Good for Joe.
I'm jealous.
Go for Joe. No, you don't want them problems.
Then Jessica Alba's boyfriend immediately posted a picture with her that night as well because everybody was like, oh, is Joe Burrow dating Jessica Alba? Like, I don't know. But
at this point, she ain't yours no more. Never mind. With that being said, this just shows you where teams feel like they're at. I know Robert Walsh was super excited about this as well.
As he should be. Yeah, no doubt.
Don't get jealous, y'all. It's just where they are.
615-737-1045. What are realistic expectations for the Titans 2026 free agency haul? We'll give you ours next. Hey, it's Will Bolnick. If you haven't already heard, Nashville's premier timepiece dealer is Brentwood Jewelry. Not only do they have the best selection in watches, but they are also the go-to spot for pre-owned Rolexes, vintage or current models. Own a fine pre-owned Rolex for a fraction of the cost. Every watch has been meticulously serviced to ensure the highest level of performance and is presented with a 2-year warranty. Brentwood Jewelry is going to take care of you. The second you walk in the building there, whether you're looking for that excellent timepiece or maybe you're like me and you're shopping for that engagement ring, Brentwood Jewelry will make the process easy for you. For over 50 years, Brentwood Jewelry has been proudly serving the Brentwood community with exceptional style and exceptional deals every day. You can tell it's family owned the second you walk in the door with the service that they're going to give you. Check them out online at BrentwoodJewelry.com or swing by 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. Brentwood Jewelry, online at BrentwoodJewelry.com. Hour 3 of Ramona Will continues on 104.5 The Zone. We stream it live for you each and every morning on 104.5 The Zone TV. If you're on your commute right now, you're heading into work, and you want to stay locked in on what's going on throughout the day with NFL free agency, the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel is a great place to start. And, your boss will be okay with it because they're going to be listening to.
Yeah.
They're going to be paying attention to what the Titans are doing, what NFL teams are up to with free agency essentially beginning at 11 a.m. today. Subscribe while you're there. Many of you coming to us for the first time, maybe ever or in a while, on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. So hit the subscribe button while you are there. What is realistic, Ramon, to expect from this Titans free agent haul? Two names are very strongly connected to the team. In Giants wide receiver Wandale Robinson and Broncos defensive lineman / edge John Franklin Myers. Are those the big money targets that make the most sense? Or what else is realistic for the Titans? Let's just start at the top end of free agency when we throw names around like Trey Hendrickson and Tyler Linderbaum.
Trey Henderson, not realistic. I think too up in age, too high strung, probably on a brand and getting away from a rebuild, what he's done in Cincinnati for the last few years. At least that's my thought process into going into free agency is guys want to get away from what they just dealt with for years. And his has been uncertainty, chaos, and just no stability whatsoever when it comes down to the franchise. I think the Titans are pushing to get past that era. But with a guy that's got options right now, I see him going either to a big brand or to a contender.
It's going to be interesting. I think it is realistic for the Titans. I'm not sure it's realistic from Hendrickson's perspective, to your point.
Yeah.
Edge rushers always feel like ring chasers. Not always the case, doesn't always end up that way, but if Franklin Myers and Wandale Robinson are both coming, then all of a sudden, I'm not sure Hendrickson is realistic. A lot of it depends on what those numbers look like and, again, how motivated and how much convincing he needs.
Yeah.
I'm certainly open to it. I don't think there are many free agents out there I'm going to turn my nose up at the top of this market, considering the money and the cushion that you do have to take some risks.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability to persuade some people with the extra money you have.
You do. And that money goes a long way as far as having power to get the job done. But here's always the other side, too. You can't be foolish with it because we'll be sitting here in 2 years looking at the money spent. And, yeah, you got to spend it and take the chances on those guys. But look at how Rand's cycle is looking now because you had to spend it. Now, whether that's the player's motivation or just bad evaluation of players, it now looks like what the heck, right? Cush is gone. Calvin questions. L'Jarius questions.
Tony Pollard's probably gone.
Pollard. Like, there's a lot of that I feel like that's been going on as of late. And I heard somebody this morning say it as well. Teams that overspend in free agency usually don't net the returns the way they want to, other than New England last year.
And that's what I was just pulling up is their entire free agent haul from last year.
I'm interested to see what you call out as far as the age of the players.
Yep.
And also, separate from that, the amount of money spent on said players, too.
Because I think there is a distinction that needs to be made here. While, yes, hitting on a ton of free agents with a ton of cash is not plan A for building a team, nor is it common that you hit on enough of them to immediately flip your roster into a contender.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is not that you are spending a lot of money. You have really no choice. But what are you spending your money on? Are you taking the right kinds of risks? Are you bringing the right human beings into the building? Are you addressing the right positions now and saving the right ones for the NFL draft where you feel like you like certain things that you don't feel like you have to go get right now? A year ago, the New England Patriots signed a 31-year-old receiver in Stephon Diggs who was coming off a torn right ACL for a 3-year, $69 million deal. That was essentially a one-year deal for $26 million guaranteed. That was a hit.
It was a hit.
They signed Harold Landry to a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with $26 million guaranteed. Turned to 29, entering his 8th NFL season. Pretty dang good.
I think that was a hit. I think he was 9.5 sacks this year or close to 10. Either way, very productive.
3 years, $37 million for New England last year for Robert Spillane.
Oh.
They bought high on him. He turned 30 in December. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Carlton Davis, 3 years, $60 million contract. Coming over at corner, 28 years of age on the opposite end of Christian Gonzalez. Morgan Moses, 34-year-old right tackle, 3-year, $24 million contract. Stabilizing veteran force there. Milton Williams, 4 years, $104 million last year for New England. Guy that helped win Philadelphia a Super Bowl. He helped lead a really good defensive front for New England. Kyrus Tonga was another guy that was 1 year, $2.7 million. He was a really good space eater in that defense. Mac Hollins, steady. Austin Hooper, 1 year for $5 million, steady. Kaylavon Chason, who's going to enter free agency again, signed a 1-year deal for $5 million, was a total revelation last year for the New England Patriots. Yeah. Was excellent. Finally met his potential and what he was expected to be as the 20th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. 7.5 sacks last year after only having 10 in the 5 seasons before that as a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. It's taking the right risks.
That's a hit.
It's finding the right people. It's finding the right athletes. It's developing the ones that you do go all in on. Garrett Bradbury, another one at center. I know they just traded him, but they got a pick out of him. Jack Gibbons, another guy that played a lot of football for them last year. It is possible to spend a lot of money, but what you did not hear in all those contracts was $100 million.
Except for one.
One deal was over $100 million for the New England Patriots. They took a lot of second-tier free agents at a lot of different positions and addressed weaknesses. And that's where I feel like the realistic expectations have to be for the Titans. At positions like corner, you are only as good as your worst corner. Who's your worst corner on the 2 deep when you start the season? I'm not as worried about who is taking away a number one. Who's your worst guy?
Yeah.
On the offensive line, do you have to go get Tyler Linderbaum and then settle for Jackson Slater at right guard because you got Linderbaum, or you get Cade Mays and Jermaine Illuminor? All of a sudden, you spread that money out a little bit. Who's your worst offensive lineman? Who is your turnstile? Who's the guy that Tyler Linderbaum might be a green PFF grade over here, but if I'm in the red at right guard, does that really matter? My quarterback's getting hit either way.
This is true.
So I'm spending $20 million for Tyler Linderbaum to watch somebody run past him on his right shoulder. That's where I'm at with this team. How many second or third tier players can you sign to 2 to 3 year deals to raise the floor heading into 2026? That's the question.
Yeah. And again, the thing that I've been watching for, will be watching for this cycle with the Titans is how many of these deals are structured as just pure 1-year deals, or would you
go ahead and finish your point? I'll tell you the trade in a second.
Or 3 years, which you can only get one out of, right? Like Stephon Diggs got one out of that one. You talking about Kaylavon Chason, another guy that did a 1-year deal. Who are your fits? What's the price? And how quickly can they help at least make you competent as a team on Sundays? Because, again, I felt like if you're a fan of the Tennessee Titans, time and time again, you went into Nissan Stadium, just said, okay, we're here for a good time. Not on the field, but in the stands. And that has to change. That absolutely has to change. Who are the threats that you're going to go get in this supplemental year of 2026 that's going to allow you to at least say, you're not the bad news bears?
Adam Schefter is reporting a trade in the NFL 5 minutes ago. Minka Fitzpatrick is on the move again, Ramon. Traded to the New York Jets from the Miami Dolphins. He will sign a 3-year, $40 million deal there. Got any guesses on the trade compensation for Minka Fitzpatrick?
For Minka, a 5th.
2026 7th-round pick for Minka Fitzpatrick. Headed to Aaron Glenn and the New York Jets.
Aaron Glenn, I don't know if you want to do that.
Really?
No. I love Minka. As a teammate, one of the coldest guys I've ever watched. play the game. But I look at Minka's situation, how close he's to 30 right now as well. I think Aaron Glenn went after Minka because of his attitude and what he's bringing to the game. Not necessarily his play.
29 years old.
29.
Ranked the number 7 safety in the league last year, according to Pro Football Focus.
With what that team need with the Jets, I don't know if that was the smartest move, but this is what bad teams continually do, though. They make moves like this where they trade for a guy at the safety position, give him a new deal, and hope that you can get that old thing back. Like, if you told me it was just a pure trade, cool. But if you told me it's trade plus money compensation, I wouldn't be into that one at all. I think Aaron Glenn's looking for a splash, and names is going to keep him employed as a coach. And Minka, I will say this, will bring an attitude. He's going to teach up young guys. He's going to show Jarvis Brownlee Jr. how to be a pro.
Sure.
All of those things.
Yep.
But to compensate as well, questionable.
4 pass breakups last season for Minka Fitzpatrick. He allowed 27 catches, a passer rating of 103.6. Did force a fumble as well. 57 solo tackles for the former Alabama defensive back. So there you go. Minka Fitzpatrick to the Jets. Let's go to the phones. 615-737-1045. Dan is in Nashville. What's up, Dan?
Morning, Dan.
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
Good.
I wanted to throw something out there. I haven't really heard anybody talk about it. I know we said Trey Henderson. I'm sorry. But I was going to say, why not look at Cam Jordan and not hang up and listen?
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. I would love Cam Jordan. I'm not sure he will have a ton of interest.
All right.
Again, same point. Guys late in their careers who rush the passer are in high demand from teams in Super Bowl windows. But I think Cam Jordan makes a ton of sense for this team. I think he is close to what Bobby Wagner was for Washington 2 years ago on a team that surprised everybody and went to the NFC Championship game. He's a good locker room guy. He fits into the system, can play that big defensive end spot, and I think would be an excellent fit, Ramon.
I think he's a good fit. Don't love the age, but Cam Jordan has always been top tier when it comes down to his health, his availability for the most part, and how he plays on Sundays. You know, the issue that I have with Cam Jordan is this, though. Before this past year, it looked like the descent has started to happen. And he played in 17 games, started 17 games in 23, 2 sacks. He started 17 games in 24, 4 sacks. And then he burst back on the scene this year right here with 10.5. Now, that's fine and that's cute. I tend to also just want to believe the trend of the descent more than anything. Now, his price determines if I'm okay with signing him here, but I'm not buying that stock per se. I heard Blaine Bishop, our teammate here at the station, say these dudes are weapons. They're specialists in what you're asking them to do. Now, if he's coming in and playing his role and guiding, Femi Oladejo into how to be a better rusher, cool. If you're paying for a player coach, absolutely fine. But I don't know if you're going to pay for a guy like him in his career $15 million for 15 sacks. I almost feel like you got to pay $1 million a sack, and I'm not sure if you're going to be getting that number from him, considering this is his first time hitting free agency as well.
Another trade in the NFL just a minute ago. The Jersey guys are all moving right now with Minka Fitzpatrick, Jersey, and now Rashawn Gary. Outside linebacker, edge rusher for the Green Bay Packers is headed to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2027 third-round pick. Wow.
A deal is coming with that, too.
That is a steep price for Rashawn Gary.
You know what they're chasing with him? His 5-star rating out of high school.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. 7.5 sacks last year for Rashawn Gary, career high 9.5 in 2021. 7 years for Green Bay, 46.5 sacks.
I think he's already into a second deal, if I'm not mistaken. He recently just got that. A third-round pick, I'm going to be honest with you. Dallas taking it on, that's probably not a bad deal for him.
Oh, I don't know. I think that's too steep for Dallas. As good as the 27 draft is supposed to be?
As what?
As good as the
day 3 pick.
Day 3 pick?
Is it a day?
Day 3 pick,
third round.
Late round. Adam Schefter says late round 2027. Dinah Rossini says day 3.
Are they getting anything in 26?
No.
They're not getting anything in 26?
No.
Heck of a deal.
Okay. Late round 2027 draft pick.
What?
We'll see. That would make a lot more sense. 27 third round pick would be Far too steep.
Out of this world.
Far too steep.
Especially since they were going to release him anyways. He was supposed to be released on Wednesday.
Okay.
He made his first Pro Bowl last year, but what is the Pro Bowl anymore?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Dallas to me seemed like if they do, if Ricky's right, and get Trey.
Ricky Scoops, the dog insider, back on Twitter this morning. He's always right, really.
Hey, Bert put me on him this past Friday. I was listening.
Ricky is.
I had no idea.
Ricky's the GOAT.
Who Ricky Scoops is, man. But if they are doing this, it just tells me they're trying to bulletproof Dak Prescott. They're trying to give him the best defensive players if they go after Trey Hendrickson as well.
That defense was atrocious last year.
They're trying to figure it out now.
Absolutely atrocious.
I could see Cam Jordan going there also.
Yeah, I could too.
Yeah. That's the type of move I could see for Cam Jordan.
100%. 100%. Yeah, Ricky Scoops this morning seems to think that Trey Hendrickson's going to the Cowboys.
I don't want to disparage Robert Walsh, Bert, but we believe Ricky more than... Okay.
Yes, we do.
Right.
I will personally vouch for the consistency of Ricky Scoops on social media. It's a guy that is behind a burner who tweets with a dog profile picture, but he is more right than he is wrong. It's kind of crazy, actually.
I'm messing with it, dude.
Mike is in White House up next. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
What's up, guys? Sitting over here at the Nashville airport, getting ready to roll out. Hey, so tell me what the difference is between Wandale Robinson and Shim DK. I mean, I know there's a little bit of a height difference there, a few inches, but, I mean, you really can't. I just wouldn't think you would be able to put Wandale outside permanently because Shim's already in the slot, and he's done a pretty good job. And then you can't really throw any 50-50 balls to either one of those guys if you got both of them on the field. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what people's thought process is, because to me, it seems like we already got a Wandale Robinson on the roster. And I'll just hang out and listen. Appreciate it, fellas.
Great question, Mike. I think the way Wandale Robinson was used through 2024, yes, I would agree. But about 50% of Wandale Robinson's snaps last year were on the outside. So, yes, you can absolutely play both of them together. And I think, too, it goes back to what we've spoken about, Ramon, with the evaluation you've got to have on Chimere Dike.
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider Chim an elite return man who also plays receiver? Or is he a wide receiver that just so happens to be an all-pro return man? If you sign Wandale Robinson, I think you are telling us that Chimere Dike is probably wide receiver 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. That's why I look at it. At this point, with how he's created a career for himself, he's an elite return man that also plays wide receiver. He's going to be counted on to be in every single one of Bones Fossil's special teams meetings is the way I look at him, either as a gunner on punt or as a return man in all phases of the game. And then also the other difference is this, too, is the sure hands that Wandale Robinson brings to you. He knows how to get open. You're in a position right now that Chimere Dike didn't last year at least, prove that he was a bona fide NFL wide receiver when it comes down to the volume of catches, balls that will be coming his direction. You get that with Wandale Robinson. You get a guy who's a specialty piece more than just, hey, I'm a jack of all trades, I feel like. Wandale's a wide receiver at this point.
Rap Sheet on Twitter does say day 3 pick for 2027 for Sean Gary. There you go. All right, that makes way more sense. My apologies.
Yeah.
Diana originally said 3rd round pick.
There you go.
But then she retweeted.
So bibbity bobbity on YouTube. I did read it right. The report was wrong that I read. Got to read more carefully, we say. Hey.
Quick. They're so quick with it.
Sit. Step 1, spin. Step 2. 615-737-1045. We'll take a look at more names that make sense for the Titans. The one we talked about with Stoney Keeley this morning at Edge, I think is a great option. And then, Ramon, I've got a new name for you at wide receiver we've not said a word about that I think the Titans should sign and may be interested in for 2 reasons. That's next.
It's Ramon Foster for Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, man. I want to tell you about Jewel Roofing and Exteriors. One, they've come out to my house, man, and done really good work on top of my roof. I had just a piece of wood that was kind of bulging up a little bit, and I thought I was going to have to replace the entire thing. Absolutely not. They were able to find it, fix it, leave me no worries whatsoever, y'all. I was asking them, how long did this last? It's like, well, your roof is good for, and they gave me double-digit amount of years. But I'll tell you this, they were honest with me. They did good work, and the communication is always elite when you're dealing with Jewel Roofing, man. They are a trusted family-owned Middle Tennessee company that serves from Clarksville to Murfreesboro. They found me somewhere in the middle, man, in Hendersonville, and they've been doing this for over 25 years. They also stand out by building relationships and earning trust through referrals, never through high-pressure tactics, door knocking, the storm chasing. Y'all know what I mean by that. As soon as a big storm comes in the city, somebody with all those signs around your neighborhood posting up, hey, if you need us, call us. No, deal with a local company, man, like Jewel Roofing. You can call them at 615-868-9999 or visit the website at jewelroofing.com. That's Jewel Roofing with 2 L's.com.
Ramona Will at 104.5 The Zone. Wrap it up hour number 3. Room for your phone calls at 615-737-1045. There is a name at wide receiver, Ramon, who I think makes some sense.
Let me see if I can guess
for
it.
the Tennessee Titans. Okay.
Geez, I just had his De'Ami Brown.
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Moving on.
That's your only guess?
Yeah, that was it.
That's all you got?
Just young, had some talent,
Okay.
didn't really explore themselves much when it comes down, didn't really grow as a pro just yet. And you're not looking for a star, you're looking for a weapon. And I just looked at his situation and said, hey, there's probably something there. Now, we don't know what their methods are with free agency yet, so I'm waiting to see.
Well, we kind of do, though.
Yeah.
We know what the methods are from what they did last year and what's been reported. They may shop around a couple of the big money guys, but they're going to likely be in for a lot of the second or third tier solid contributors to build up the foundation of the entire roster. And I've got one at receiver for you.
And can I clear that too real
Sure.
quick? Because I use that term often as well. Second, third tier guys, they're still the top 1%.
Second, third tier of money.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Of course they are. Tyquan Thornton, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver this past season. You know what he had per catch this year, Ramon?
No.
23 yards per reception. Now, he only had 19 catches for 438 yards on 37 targets. He played 14 games. He started 4. But he is the field stretcher that I think you go get as the consolation for missing out on Alec Pierce. And that's not to say that Tyquan Thornton is Alec Pierce or that he would require close to the same money or expectations or any of those things. This is the kind of solid contributor that we're talking about. This is being realistic with what you can go get. The Titans last season, Ramon, struggled because the field was so condensed all the time against Cam Ward. You knew that you had time to play tight man coverage, walk everybody up to the line, confuse Cam, blitz the heck out of him, and know that Titans receivers weren't going to run by you. Well, Tyquan Thornton ran 4.28 in the 40 coming out in the NFL draft. He was a draft pick of the New England Patriots in the second round. 36 targets this past season, 6'2", 185. His average depth of target and how far down the field he was targeted on average was 27.8 yards. He was the deep ball guy. I'd like for him to be the Titans' deep ball guy and field stretcher. Not someone that's going to get you maybe significantly more than 500 yards if he has a really good season. But I think considering the amount of vertical passing game emphasis that is going to be put on Cam Ward's pass game with Brian Daboll's help, the Titans see somebody who can run, who can stretch the field. Because if you want Wandale Robinson's post routes to be respected and open, you need somebody to force those safeties back a couple of steps. And I think Tyquan Thornton could do exactly that.
And that's what we're waiting to see as far as the buildup of this offense. Because if you do sign Wandale, and all signs are pointing to that as well, how are you going to continually get them open? Are you in a position to where, like you said, the fact that you play the underneath game with a guy like with the tight ends, with Chig, if he is signed back as well, or Wandale, you got to have a one-trick pony. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a one-trick pony if your trick is really good. And if his speed is a big part of his game plan, well, I say roll with it. And again, he's one of many guys that should or could be signed here. I think Spot Track got his market value at about $2.2 to $2.5 million as well.
And this could be a guy who signs in the late spring, early summer. I'd say probably $4 to $5 million if I had to guess. But again, that's the kind of market. Like that's Mac Hollins for the Patriots last year.
Yeah.
That's more you're looking for a wide receiver 3 or 4 here. I mean, if you gave me a wide receiver core with Wandale Robinson, a draft pick, Tyquan Thornton, Elikiah Manor, Chimere Dike, with that draft pick being one of your first 3 picks on days 1 or 2, I feel okay.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's got size. 6'2" is his height as well, too. I like that. Somebody brought up in our chat, just real quick, I just lifted my eyes, no Romeo Doubs conversation.
Well, I like Romeo Doubs, and I said at the beginning of free agency, I think Doubs is also a field stretcher and a vertical threat who is a good down-the-field option. I would be surprised, not shocked, but I'd be surprised for them to double dip with that much money at wide receiver. Because it seems like Wandale Robinson is feeling likely. I don't know if they're going to spend $30 million a year total on Wandale Robinson and Romeo Doubs. That's why we're not talking as much about Doubs. It just feels like with the reports out there that they're choosing Wandale Robinson over Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, and that's also what we're going to speak about in the next hours. What don't you want the Titans to do? Like, this leads to that conversation is trying to just pick every doggone guy that you think that has a name off the free agency board. Like, I'm still, to be quite honest with you, on the defensive tackle from Houston's train, like Tim Settle. Like, those are the type of signings I feel like, barring the foot injury that he has to get healed up from, but more of those, to your point, the way New England kind of pieced it together as well. Like, I don't view 26 as a window opportunity just yet. This is a build-up, and hopefully you get lucky and go on winning streaks the way New England did last year. I'm not sure if it's going to net a Super Bowl visit, but that's what happened with them, if we're being completely honest. Not to minimize what they did last year, but they took advantage of the fourth-place schedule. And it was actually fourth-place teams that they played against, not all the top 10 defenses that the Titans saw this past year.
Kwity Paye is another guy who I think makes a lot of sense for the Titans as a realistic candidate here. 4 sacks last season, but was better before that. Never lived up to a first-round pick kind of grade there in Indianapolis. This would be your Kayvon Chaisson if you went to go get Kwity Paye to the extent of what New England did last year with another former high draft pick in Kayvon Chaisson. 30 sacks in 5 years. And has played for Gus Bradley, your new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, the familiarity is going to play a part, but these guys going to have options as far as free agency go. If you are a Titans fan, you should be excited that the other guys are excited about it so far. And that is Jermaine Johnson going at John Franklin Meyer about signing here.
Sure.
And they're both communicating publicly on Twitter.
615-737-1045. Hour 4 after this, the latest on Nate Ament in Tennessee. We got some details on his injury after Vanderbilt's win over the Vols on Saturday that we'll tell you next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls, y'all. That is the website, medicalhousecalls.com. It is healthcare designed for your life. If you are in a situation where free agency is about to open up and you're nervous about it, they probably got something that can help settle you down. If you're, like a lot of sleep deprivation, they can find ways to come to your house and evaluate you, because I'm here to tell you, for a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, treatment plan, and prescriptions if you need it. Medical House Calls isn't just an IV therapy. No, absolutely not. They cover everything from sicknesses, infections, injuries, in-home labs, testing, and so much more. And the cool thing about it is on your time and on your schedule. They're available to you 7 days a week. Yes, that's Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same-day appointments are available to you or next day guaranteed. And the way it works is you call or text them, and they'll come to your house or wherever you are to service you, and they absolutely do a phenomenal job. I called them over to my house. I felt a sickness coming on, ended up getting some IV therapy, and bam, it was knocked out as quick as possible, man. So if you want to be like me, go to medicalhousecalls.com or call or text them at 615-838-2375.
9:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. A couple trades in the NFL this morning per multiple reports. The Dolphins are sending Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets in exchange for a 2026 seventh-round draft pick via the Chargers. The Jets will now sign Fitzpatrick to a 3-year, $40 million deal. Also, the Green Bay Packers are finalizing a deal that would send defensive tackle Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys. It's in exchange for a 2027 fourth-round draft pick. Today, legal tampering period in NFL free agency officially begins in about 2 hours, coming up at 11 a.m. Central, where players can agree to terms with the team but not officially sign until this Wednesday. This morning, the Dolphins are releasing former 2025th overall draft pick quarterback Tua Tagovailoa after the start at the new league year, which begins on Wednesday. It'll be a post-June 1st designation. Miami owes Tua $54 million this season and will take on an NFL record $99 million in dead cap space split over the next 2 seasons. The Titans, per Tom Pelissero, are not going to tender restricted free agent cornerback Darrell Baker Jr., who started 25 games for the Titans, including 10 games last year. They'd still like to bring him back, but is now a free agent and has interest elsewhere in the league. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour of your Monday morning. Ramon and Will kicking off your day on NFL Free Agency Christmas. 2 more hours, folks, until the deals will begin. 615-737-1045 is our number. We'll get back to the NFL discussion coming up here in 15 minutes. Credit to Vanderbilt for beating Tennessee in Knoxville, ruining senior day, and picking up an 86-82 victory. The Vols spot them way too much help in the early going. The teams finished with identical SEC records. Amari Evans, the bright spot in an otherwise bleak performance for the Vols, scoring 24 points on 9 of 18 shooting. Tennessee just couldn't get stops in the second half. Giving up over 50 points in the second half, something that is not normal for a Rick Barnes team. As Tyler Tanner, Ramon, leads the way with 25, and Vandy gets the job done.
Heck of a job by Vanderbilt, man. First, got to give credit to them playing spoilers as much as they did. I would have had the same attitude and energy as well. Heck, the way the Vols just pretty much, I felt, using the word bully is a bit much, but they controlled the pace last time in Memorial Gym. And this time you saw, started by Tyler Tanner, his ability to get to the paint, attack the bigs, get them in foul trouble. Nate Ament wasn't out, so help wasn't coming for you, even though Nate Ament wasn't overly productive the first time. He was the one to put the knife in their back when it comes down to finishing the game up, but there was no clutch player in it other than Amari Evans. You have your premier player, the senior, on senior day, and Jacoby Gillespie playing like he had butter on his fingers, just confused by being senior day, and just in totality couldn't close the deal. That to me was a bad start. Decent finish, but you can't start slow against a Vanderbilt team that loves to get up and down the floor and loves to attack you and loves to embarrass you as much as they possibly can. Just a bad showing. That's what it was.
Yeah, I love Jacoby Gillespie. In a lot of ways, he has been one of the most valuable players for any team in all of college basketball this year.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, 5 of 22 from the field, 1 of 11 from 3, and 5 turnovers just is not good enough. It's really not good enough. He's not the only reason Tennessee lost the game. Obviously, having Nate Ament may have flipped this. Either way, the turnovers are the turnovers. And Nate Ament has been a part of Tennessee teams that have also turned the basketball over a lot. And he's been the culprit of that at times, too. So Tennessee needs better play from its vets. There's only so much you can ask your young players to do. This game was the best example of it. Jacoby Gillespie, 5 of 22 for the floor, 1 of 11 from 3, 5 turnovers. Felix Okpara, 8 points, 10 rebounds, 3 of 4 shooting. Bishop Boswell, I consider him a vet on this team.
Yeah.
Fouls out of the game, only able to play 29 minutes because of that foul trouble. 5 points, 2 of 7 from the floor. Jalen Carey did nothing. didn't even have a field goal attempt, Ramon. Inexcusable. To not even try a shot? 12 minutes, 0 points, 5 rebounds.
Yeah.
JP Estrella did his job. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 9 of 12 for the field. Even made a 3 in this game. Ethan Berg, fine, 4 points, 15 minutes. Amari Abram has given Tennessee very little this year. 3 minutes in this game, had 1 point, and missed a critical free throw late. It's got to be better from the old guys. Yeah. You guys are supposed to lead this team at this point. Rick Barnes has said it all year. We feel great about our foundational pieces. We need more from our vets, from our older players who should know better. And time's running out for you guys to leave a lasting legacy on your way out of Tennessee basketball.
And here's the thing, too. Those vets that you speak of, man, Vandy did a lot of scoring while the clock was stopped. 32 attempts at the free throw line. It shows you the aggressiveness. Mm-hmm. It shows you their game plan.
100%.
And for a team that doesn't have premier bigs in Vanderbilt, right? Our guys are supposed to be dominating the paint, creating chaos, getting to the paint, getting and finishing at the bucket. And still, that was the other part, too. The ball just rimming out again when it comes to finishing around the glass or in the bucket. Just wasn't there either. But 21 free throws attempted for the Vols and only 14 made. That is another issue that has to be cleaned up from veteran guys as well when it boils down to it. Like, I'm sorry, but if you are a point guard, missing free throws or going, 4 for 7 from the strike, like, that doesn't fly in any world. Like, doing the simple things have to come first for this team. And to your point about the veterans not answering that call, they're not doing the simple things right. To even warrant staying in the game.
And not defensively either. Like, you're letting too many guys get to the rim.
Way too many.
Yeah.
Like, the way Tyler Tanner was able to just leverage them and get into the paint and create chaos and get the and ones or just the opportunity to shoot free throws is just flagrant. That can't be allowed because now it's on tape constantly on top of slow starts.
Rick Barnes said after the 86-82 loss to Vandy that he does expect Nate Ament to play in the SEC tournament. Says he hasn't done anything in practice since the last game he played. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise that we can get to Nashville and get some more games in and get rhythm going for Nate. It's hard this time of year to miss. I know he will do everything he can. Says for the beating he has taken this year, the rest might be great. I know it does hurt a little bit more because it's a rivalry loss, but Tennessee made the right call on Nate Ament.
Absolutely.
He really has been beaten up all year the way he's been defended, and not an excuse. It's just the reality of it. Like, you always wanted him healthy for tournament play.
No doubt.
And if there was any doubt at all about his ability to play and look like himself against Vanderbilt, there's no point making anything worse. So now you're probably going to get a chance to play Vandy again after you beat the winner of, if you beat the winner of Mississippi State Auburn on Thursday.
Right. This is second season right here. As far as the SEC tournament goes, it's going to be highly contested. Vanderbilt's feeling real good about themselves, and they should. And they're playing in Nashville, and their crowd probably will show up this time when it comes to the support of their squad. So, again, this is neutral site. Vols fans, I'm sure, are going to show up. Vandy fans, I'm sure, will show up as well if both these teams see each other again. I'm going to try to be in the building for that one.
Yeah, it'll probably be Friday.
It'll probably be Friday. Mm-hmm. Even better.
Most likely will be Friday. So, and that's assuming Tennessee beats State or Auburn, two teams they beat this season, one on the road and one at home. But we'll see. What I'm interested in is, what does this mean for Amari Evans' role when Nate Ament does come back? Because he's finished the season really strongly. Yes. And Tennessee needs offense and needs guys that can go get their own shot. I wonder if you see more of him out there with Jacoby Gillespie at point to complement Nate Ament and put all three of those guys out there together.
It was the one constant this past weekend. Like I said, 2 for 6 from the three-point line, but just his ability to slash, I thought, was probably one of the best things he had going for him, on top of just his ability to rebound as well. Mm-hmm. It was exciting. It was refreshing. For whatever this team turns out at the end of the season, I will say the group that could or should be coming back is something that you build your foundation off of, especially with Dwayne Brown, if you get Amari Evans back and just a plethora of other guys that are choosing to grow up.
Yep, that's good foundational stuff to worry about in April. But
yeah, I know.
Right now, March. The guys we got to play better.
By the way, you mentioned the Vols beating Auburn. Auburn fans, this will be my one time ever trashing y'all. I hope y'all lose every game.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Why is that?
Bruce coming out with the nepotism conversation.
Yeah.
We knew it.
He tried to walk it back a little bit over the weekend.
Screw that.
Talking about Miami of Ohio and saying, "Oh, they're in my tournament now."
Screw that.
Yeah, Bruce talking quite a bit right now.
If you are an opposing team of Auburn moving forward, run them into the dirt. Run them.
Coming up, what do you want the Titans to avoid in free agency? What do you want them not to do? We'll talk about that next. NFL free agency here in the next hour and 40 minutes as the legal tampering / negotiating, what they're calling it now, window begins. He is Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. We are Ramon and Will at Ramon and Will on Twitter, where we'd love for you to follow us there as we keep you updated on everything going on today and obviously throughout the week. Here, 6 to 10 with you on the Zone. Ramon, what moves do you want the Titans to avoid and not make today?
To avoid and not make, I got like 3 tiers of this one.
Okay.
Don't overpay for the old guys for long periods.
Anyone in particular you're thinking of?
For everybody that's clamoring for Trey Hendrickson, I would also throw Cam Jordan in that conversation.
Really?
Stephon Diggs, nope, don't want to do it.
Why Cam Jordan along with the other two?
Because he had 2 years of straight dips of non-production after starting 17 games as well. With that being said, he didn't net much production. And then this year, of course, he gets 10.5 sacks. I personally don't say he's back. I almost feel like that's the pride before the fall of what his career has been. This isn't a guy that's not played, like he's played a crap ton of reps in the NFL at that position on the defensive line, on turf as well. I just don't trust it for a long-term signing here in Nashville. I think it almost gives, I don't want to say false hope, but there's no ends to the means I think that's positive for that signing.
Well, you're not asking Cam Jordan to sign a long-term deal, though.
Yeah.
To your point, saying there's no long-term hope. Well, I don't think the Titans would think there's long-term hope. There's just a guy that helps set the culture, is a still solid football player, and fills a position of need for at least one season.
I just don't believe in having that money on the books when you know it's not going to net much of a return at all.
I'm not convinced it wouldn't net a return. I think it could very well net a return.
Yeah.
And it's only 1 year. I mean, to me, that is a very low-risk move because you're not signing him to any more than a maybe 2-year deal, the absolute most, but probably a 1-year deal.
Yeah, 1 year I'm fine with. Long term, no, not that. But I think in order to get him at his number, you got to put him on the books for probably 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, the way I see it.
Oh, well, okay. I feel like at 36, though, I mean, I'd be shocked to see him sign a 3-year deal.
Yeah, well, like I said.
If he came here. I mean, maybe somebody else is willing to do that, but that would surprise me.
The way the money would be spread out.
Okay.
And so the other one kind of leads into the first one. Don't spend just for names. Name brands chase checks.
Who are you thinking of? Who's on, your mind for name brands?
Name brands, I'll be honest with you. Everybody wants Tyler Linderbaum.
Yep.
Linderbaum. The way I view it is 20+ for him is, even as an offensive lineman, outside of my realm of thinking for what he should be looking for on this team. If you can get him, fine. If you can absolutely get him, fine. I feel the same way at this point with how it's shifting up with Alec Pierce getting $27 million. Like, don't sign him just to sign him. Sign him because there's a purpose behind it. So those are the guys I look at that one. And my last one is.
Hold on. I want to linger a little longer on Linderbaum because I think you may be in the minority on that.
I probably am, and I'm okay with that.
What about his game says he's not worth $20 million?
What in his game says that? Without knowing what the protection scheme is going to look like? We saw a center here. They got schemed up in this division, or the opponents he had to play, they gave up 6 sacks. Clearly, whether it was the
You're talking about Lloyd Cushenberry. Yeah, for the Titans.
Giving up 6 sacks. You know he's an undersized, air quotation marks, and saying that center. You know that pass protection primarily isn't his game. He's an assist type of guy. He can ping pong from left to right as far as helping the protection. But if you go bare front, meaning the 3 interior offensive linemen being covered, I'm not sure how many of those he's going to win. And not just that, you got a rookie quarterback that if you put DeForest Buckner over him, what is the pressure going to look like over him in a one-on-one situation? You also got to face Devondre Sweat this year. Of course, they're going to pay him to run down the middle of his face. In those situations, how good does he stack up with a team that doesn't have threats down the field in order to alleviate the threat of him constantly or teams sending guys after him? Again, I look at this division and how you need to set it up. Remember, I told you my guy that I would want for the Titans would be Connor McGovern because of the size. I think in this division, you have to plan for the future based on what the rest of your teams are doing. Jacksonville got 4 down that can get home at any point in time, not even including the linebackers. Indianapolis, they can get home with 4 no matter what the scheme is. And let's not even mention Houston. They just gave Danielle Hunter $40 million this
for
weekend.
one season, right?
So I view Linderbaum's strength as not a priority here, which is getting out and moving the pocket and running. And again, I'm saying all this in an ignorant way because I don't know what Brian Dable's passing scheme is going to look like, his protections, or what they want for Cam.
Right. Yeah, the Linderbaum thing is interesting because the opportunity cost of not getting him is substantial. And opportunity cost means the cost of not doing something. The drop-off from Tyler Linderbaum to Cade Mays or Luke Fortner, Ethan Posick, is a pretty significant drop-off, even though Linderbaum is far from perfect in pass protection. If you are paying Tyler Linderbaum, you are paying for the ability to not have to settle for one of the other guys. That's where Connor McGovern signing with Buffalo for what he did over the weekend has thrown a wrench into this. It's where Tyler Biadasz already landing with the LA Chargers has changed some of the conversation about this. The Titans have been mentioned as a team that people expect to be in the market for Linderbaum. I'm curious on how much that is just because of actual conversations that have taken place with some of these reporters or just reporters that are connecting logical dots. That's what we don't know yet.
Right.
I think it makes a lot of sense if you want to double down on being a run-first team built around either Jeremiah Love or Kenneth Walker as your feature running back.
I'll give you that.
I think if Tyler Linderbaum is your guy, you're probably going cheap at right guard because you're not going to spend that much money on just one position. You've already got a highly paid left tackle, but only for 1 year. But you do already have a highly paid left tackle. And obviously you have first-round picks at left guard and right tackle, and that left guard and Peter Skronsky is probably about to get paid a very large sum of money. It's going to be interesting. I think it goes back to our point earlier. Who's your weakest link on the offensive line? If you sign Tyler Linderbaum for $20 million, are you forced to settle on a weaker link at right guard, which undoes a lot of the good that you have in adding Linderbaum? Are you better suited bringing in 2 solid interior linemen versus gambling on having one great one and one bad one? Because the one bad one would erase the great one, as we've seen from guys like Dennis Daly and Andre Dillard. And when a backup lineman's in, all of a sudden, you may be totally clean at center, but if you're losing your one-on-one on the outside or even at guard, it doesn't really matter if you get beat within 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's where I go back to, do you go Cade Mays and Jermaine Illuminor? Do you go Kevin Zeitler and Ethan Posick?
Yeah.
Do you trust Jackson Slater enough to step into this? Because that is certainly a part of the equation. All that to say, while yes, I think that Tyler Linderbaum is a great option that I'd certainly be open to, there are positives to not getting into that bidding war.
And for clarity, because you just said it, but you ain't said it the way the people need to hear, because they're like, well, you said you didn't want him. You take him if you can get him.
I want him. I want him more than you do.
All right, yeah.
But I'm also understanding that it's not Linderbaum or nothing. The Titans would not have cut Lloyd Cushenberry if they weren't confident on their abilities to upgrade on Lloyd Cushenberry. And every report we've had is that the Titans want a veteran center to help Cam Ward. I don't see them starting a rookie in 2026 at center, considering you are already changing systems, changing running backs probably, and changing wide receivers.
Yeah.
What's your third one that you don't want the Titans to do?
I feel like something we've dealt with since I've been covering this station.
Okay.
Covering this team. No overnight Super Bowl contender conversation.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Find a template for whoever you are signing that's going to be a future prediction for you. Like if you're going after Wandale Robinson, fine. Now we know that you like a quick slot guy. If you're going after a burner, who did you bring up earlier, the wide receiver, Thornhill?
Tyquan Thornton.
Tyquan Thornton.
Who I think fits their type for a field stretcher as a wide receiver 3.
Let me know what you're going for moving forward. If it's a bunch of 1 years, fine. Now I know what the draft should look like moving forward as well. Now I know what future free agents, when the opportunity arises, for the type of guys that you're going to sign. Don't, hey, we signed this guy, and this guy played well, and this guy played well, and this guy, no. I'm a huge advocate of the core guys. Because the core guys, meaning the non-superstar dudes, the other, I guess, 35 on the team, those are the guys that really help you sustain. Find guys that's not, to your point a second ago, going to be the weakest link every single time you line up on the field. Don't expose yourself by trying to go after the premier corner that was just on a Super Bowl team a year or so ago. No.
Sure.
Build it up to where it's sustainable, to where you have a template, whether it's defensive tackle, whether it's edge, whether it's linebacker, or specifically at this point, corners, whether they're long-rangey guys or quick, feisty guys, which ones are you going after? Don't send me into a whirlwind of, this team is going to go to the Super Bowl in year one.
No, yeah.
I'm just trying to set expectations more than anything else.
Great points. All fair. I think for me, I want to avoid the Titans adding players to fill needs that they create and being a net kind of nothing, but just having a new player do similar kind of production.
Yeah.
Now, to the point earlier, I believe they're going to upgrade on Lloyd Cushenberry. I'm fine creating that need because I don't think Lloyd Cushenberry played up to his standards or the Titans' standards on the offensive line last year. But I'm not a huge fan of signing Travis Etienne and letting go of Tony Pollard. I'm not a huge fan of spending major money on tight end and then letting Chikakonkwo go. I think there are places where you can say yes and. Travis Etienne is a good pass catcher. If you bring him in, I think you believe that he could be a receiving threat for you to help Cam Ward learn the value of the check down. When you have a running back that can take a 5-yard angle route and turn it into a 20-yard gain, I think that's a good thing for Cam Ward right now in his development. But can we add him and have Tony Pollard? Can we add him and have Tyler Algier on the free agent market?
Yeah.
Where you create a need, I think there's maybe a need to then go get 2 or go say yes and. Because this team needed to be deeper last year. And yes, while adding pieces like Travis Etienne or someone on the tight end market, I don't think they're going to be in for the Isaiah Likely tier, but can you add to what you already have? I feel like so often this franchise will create their own needs, and then we sell these new players as additions. And while, yes, they are additions to the roster, you're not really getting a net positive out of what that position is. We talked about Tony Pollard as being an addition, but he was never an upgrade on Derrick Henry.
Right.
So, yeah, you got a new football player who was good, but did you get better at running back? Well, no. You got worse at running back.
You did.
That's what I want to avoid this time around.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So it begs the question then, Chig, right? You bring that back.
I want Chig back.
You've been on
I think Chig is a playmaker, and Chig is someone who turns nothing into something consistently. And I want that kind of playmaking ability on my football team because I don't have much of it anywhere else.
That's very true. I guess, this is a conversation for tomorrow, I guess, at some point, but there'll be so much news by then it won't matter. Who's worthy, I guess, other than Chig, of being brought back? Just a blank canvas of thinking of this team currently.
Jihad Ward at defensive end, I think, is one. I think he's worthy of coming back. Let's go position by position again. Brandon Allen, quarterback? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably new system. You're going to have somebody in who's essentially another coach for Cam. To me, I think it's either Tyrod Taylor or Mitchell Trubisky, who's probably your new backup quarterback, and you're shipping off Will Levis. Tony Pollard is deserving of coming back, but I don't know if they want him to. He's got an out in his contract. Wide receiver, your free agents are Van Jefferson, James Prochet, and Bryce Oliver. You see any of those guys sticking around? Maybe Oliver for special teams.
I was thinking Van Jefferson in special teams.
And Bryce is an exclusive rights free agent.
So they got him.
So, yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah.
At tight end, it's just Chig. 56 catches for 560. Both led the team. He's consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. I'm not opposed to Chig. It's always, like you said, it's the love yours conversation, I guess, when it boils down to it. You don't want to be dismissive because you're familiar with Chig.
Backup offensive line's a major question because Oli Udoh is a free agent. Blake Hance, Garrett Dellinger, exclusive rights. Kevin Zeitler, free agents. And Corey Levin's a free agent. And then, of course, Lloyd Cushenberry. Your centers on the roster are Clay Webb and Trey Hill.
Oh.
So I think Corey Levin's worthy of coming back.
He is. Did Corey walk off? That's what I was going to say. Did he walk off with an injury? I'm not sure how far
he
that
was quickly
reported.
ruled out.
He was quickly ruled out. Oh, okay. So whatever his recovery is at his age, and by the way, he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's a little bit older than I'd given him credit for.
He was ruled out with a bicep injury in the Week 18 game. He had previously been dealing with that leading up to it as well.
Yeah. 1 year deal, if you're bringing him back for that matter.
And that's what you don't have to do today. That's one you're going to have time to consider.
Absolutely.
Defensively, your bubble candidates, Sebastian Joseph Day.
I don't think he fits the scheme.
Why not?
Not quick twitch, not up the field the way you want him to. He's more of a left to right player instead of up the field player the way I've always kind of seen his career.
Jalen Armour Davis, James Lynch, Jahad Ward, Mike Brown's an RFA. Arden Key is a free agent.
Arden actually fits it for me. His production ain't what people want it to be. But as far as having a guy that's a body that's in a rotation, because that's what this defense is going to require, Arden fits it. Perception aside, Arden fits the scheme.
Okay. It's a question of, does he want to be here? Does he fit the personality of the locker room? I don't know. We'll see. See what they decide on that. But they certainly already know him very well.
They know him really good.
Yeah. I mean, certainly open to it. I think Arden's a great guy to have around.
He's a mystery man to me. Because athletically, body-wise, he fits the prototype of elite pass rushers. His ability or inability to finish around the quarterback is something that has to be, I guess, studied in the offseason for him. I do know he hit the bye week, last year, and came back from his training coach and was a whole lot better than what it was if that was the conversation, So finding that guy, what we saw with the Colts, last year? Like, that dude needs to show up all the time. And the way PFF works, heck, at this point, get pressures.
Yeah.
Like, pressures, you eat off pressures now.
I think the other thing for me is the dollar amount on Wandale Robinson. I'm great with him as an option. I'm not sure I love Wandale Robinson as the option. 7% of his routes were go routes. He's not much of a field-stretching vertical threat that I think this team desperately needs. Matt Harmon writes at Reception Perception about him that he had taken 70% of his snaps in the slot each of his first 3 seasons, and last season he lined up outside on 44.8% of the snaps. So a more versatile receiver, but his 67% success rate versus man and 77% success rate versus zone are far from special.
Right.
Matt Harmon says at the Reception Perception. 32nd percentile success rate to 44th percentile success rate against man coverage from 24 to 25. That's a decent leap. That's better.
Mm-hmm.
He is not good against press coverage. 11th percentile with a 50% success rate when he was pressed. Only 12% of those routes were pressed last year, but that is not a good showing in a small sample size. I think if you were to pair Wandale Robinson with a legit boundary X receiver, and there are plenty of those available for you to pick on day 2 of the NFL draft, I can see the vision. I can see the vision if you paired him up with Romeo Doubs, who I think is another deep threat target. But the field is so condensed right now, Ramon, for the Titans. The way they are currently built.
Yeah.
If you add Wandale Robinson, fine. But let's not make the same mistake with him that we did with Calvin Ridley and expect him
To be
in a phone booth against defensive backs that aren't worried about him running past you or anyone else running past you. Don't let this offense play in a phone booth. You've got to get someone that can make those safeties take a couple steps back in an offense predicated so much on vertical passes and Cam Ward hunting downfield. So deep in breakers and corners. That's where Wandale Robinson was excellent last season. That's fine
Yeah.
if you give him help and people that can create a little bit more space for him.
Diana Rossini reported earlier that expect a ton of trades to happen on today.
Sure.
Are you of the mindset or think, in your opinion, that the Titans are out of that market of trading picks away for premier guys? The only reason I bring it up is the speculation that Jalen Carter could be available. Right?
Oh, no, I'm good on Jalen Carter.
You good on Jalen Carter?
No, I think considering the off-field stuff there, I think that's kind of a non-starter for this organization.
When you talk about taking a risk, I'll take that risk. I'm not sure of the pick compensation, but I would. That's one.
I don't think he fits the personality of person the Titans want in their organization.
I just feel like I'd break plates for that one.
Yeah,
I would.
615-737-1045. You would know. You blocked people like that for many years.
I'm just saying. I know you got Jalen Carter at home. His name is Jeff. But if you're talking about stacking years from one to the other, but again, they covet draft picks.
Yeah,
Here
they do. Any trade where you are giving up compensation, I need some compensation back. I'm okay with pick swaps. I'm not okay with giving up picks. The next question becomes, are there any other players on your team that you would feel comfortable moving on from? Because if you want to send Tony Pollard in a deal that sweetens it a little bit, if you want to send, I don't know,
Cam Ward.
No,
I'm just trying to think of value. I know I'm tongue in cheek with that, but I'm trying to. So your hot spots are Cam, Jeff, Cedric.
Jeff, again, untouchable. Cedric, I think, is untouchable. Cam's untouchable for sure.
That's the point. I think that's the point I'm making. It's just like
Amani Hooker's the only other one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of a down year last year, but you just paid him.
Yeah.
He's a leader, and some of these guys got to stick around.
Yeah.
Cody Barton, another one, but I don't think he has much trade value. So again, you've already kind of moved the guy that has trade value. So
Right.
I don't see trade market being a really good asset unless it's Will Levis. But he doesn't have much trade value either. I do think he gets moved, though. 615-737-1045, our number. Final look at the headlines. Final call for phone calls as we wrap up the show next. Wrapping up the show on Ramon and Will. Buck Rising has you covered up next. The first 2 hours of NFL free agency while Buck is on air. 11 o'clock. Great day to be locked in on the zone. Some stuff will break right away. I remember last year it took a couple hours. Just give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And subscribe to the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel where while you are here, you'll want to be locked in all day. Moves will be happening throughout the day. They'll be happening tomorrow while we're on air, Wednesday. SEC tournament getting started. Great time to lock in and be a return listener.
We in it now, y'all.
Absolutely right.
Buckle up.
Sheldon Rankins is headed back to Houston. 2-year deal. $12 million of it is guaranteed. That's the other disclaimer today is that pay attention to the guaranteed number and just assume that every contract is going to be a little bit cheaper than what the original number is reported today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The big number is for the agents. It's big agency marketing is what it is. Just like looking at the corner that just got paid to, with the Rams. With the Rams.
Trent McDuffie?
Trent, yes, McDuffie. $100 million guaranteed, so that's $25 a year basically for him at this point instead of the 30, which, I mean, it's not a big difference at that point no more.
Sure. Expectations for today. Which deals you think get done first? I think Linderbaum gets done today.
At 12?
No, not at 12. I just think it gets done today.
Okay.
I think today is Wandale Robinson and John Franklin Myers, if I had to guess.
Okay, for the Titans, yeah. I think so, too. I almost feel like Linderbaum gets done in some capacity. Yeah, you just said that today.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think it's here.
Time.
No, he's going somewhere else.
New England?
No, I don't think so. I think Linderbaum's either going to the New York Giants or back to Baltimore.
That's true. And with them spending so much money on, I guess, Max Crosby in the trade that they just gave that up to, they don't have the opportunity. Baltimore.
Yeah.
To replace guys in the first round anymore.
It's true. I mean, there's not a first-round center in this draft. So that doesn't matter for center if you need to replace Linderbaum.
They're pushing it all to the middle right now.
As they should.
They are, but boy.
They should. Two firsts surprised me a little bit, but they're in the position of strength to make a move like that.
Still no AFC championship game yet. No conference championship game yet.
For this group of players,
yeah, for the Lamar Jackson
for
era.
the Lamar era.
Joe got one already. Y'all pray for Joe Burrow as well.
Nah, he'll be all right.
Listen to you. You're like, he'll be all right.
Cincinnati, nah, they'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well. They'll be fine. They got real eggs now. I'm still stuck on an opportunity. I might bring it to the table tonight about what I'm thinking going into this free agency. Depends on what happened today. I'm stuck like Chuck, man, on what to do with JC. And I'm not trying to start a riot.
Right tackle JC Latham. You want him to potentially consider him being right guard JC Latham.
I ain't ready to say it again.
You said you're conflicted.
I am conflicted. And I don't even want to put it in the airspace because it can create a bunch of chaos and
to that point, last year, if you believe it, put it in the air. I mean,
I do believe he's an elite guard waiting to pop.
You've said that since the pre-draft process before he was even picked by the Titans. You felt like he would be an elite guard.
It's going to be hard convincing a guy like him because tackle is such a coveted position. I was talking to a young guy recently about what guard can mean to his career.
Yeah.
This guy's still in college. I'm just like, I don't think you understand this. Like, you're good at what you're doing outside.
Yeah.
But moving inside creates a different world for you.
It's certainly not out of the question because this time last year, Dan Moore was not on our radar, and he was the big money signing to start free agency with the expectation that he'd play left tackle. So don't count it out for the Titans to go sign a right tackle and then say, hey, by the way, you're going to see the footnote to the tweet that means J.C. Latham's a right guard.
Morgan Moses makes me okay with that. The signing that New England had.
Morgan Moses last year?
Yes.
For New England? Go get a stabilizer at right tackle you feel like just a high floor player and put JC at right guard and give him a higher ceiling.
Yep.
Interesting. Back at it tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Enjoy the first day of free agency.
Oh, can you?
Absolutely you can. The Titans have the second most money in the league. Or first most, depending on who you ask. Back at it tomorrow, 6 a.m. The Buck Razzing Show's next.
You must remember, though, your Twitter fingers and your mic, especially today, is always high.